Good evening and welcome to Hampden for the 2017 Scottish FA Youth Cup final between Celtic and Rangers. Two clubs who've had contrasting fortunes here at the National Stadium in the last couple of days, and now it's up to the Stars of tomorrow to try and get their hands on some silverware come full time this evening. I'm Gordon Duncan. Alongside me for tonight's action is going to be Kenny Miller. And Kenny, if history in this competition is anything to go by, we're in for a real treat here at Hampden tonight.
I think we are. We had a good weekend with the Scottish Cup semi-finals, and I think this promises to be a good one tonight. Listen, Celtic are obviously heavy favourites, there's no getting away from that, but there's a lot of optimism still within the Rangers ranks, and then some good young players we'll no doubt talk about.
Captain Sam Wardrop and Ross McCrory leading the sides onto the field here at Hampden. The pitch is looking good after the exertions of the weekend. As Kenny says, Celtic clearly go into the game favourites for this one. A more experienced squad, an older squad as well. And when you look through the Rangers team, some young players in there clearly hoping to try and catch an eye and cause an upset here at Hampden this evening. Let's take a quick look at the team lineups then. Celtic going to line up with Connor Hazard in goal. It's going to be a back four of Anthony Ralston, Sam Wardrop the captain, Josh Kerr and Aidan McElduff. Mark Hill and Joe Thompson are the holding midfielders, and then it's an attacking trio of Michael Johnson, Aidan Nesbitt and Calvin Miller. They're behind the lone striker, who is Jack Aitchison. The bench for Celtic: Ross Doohan, Regan Hendry, Theodore Archibald, Paul Joseph Crossan, Kerr McInroy, Wallace Duffy and Brock Watson. As for Rangers, they go with Robbie McCrory in goal, a back four of Jordan Houston, Ross McCrory, Aidan Wilson and Ross Lyon. The midfield three is Jamie Barconas, Max Ashmore and Billy Gilmore, and the attacking three, Andrew Dallas, Zach Rudden and Serge Atakai. On the bench, Kieran Wright, Kyle Bradley, Jordan Gibson, Amin Abaradan, Josh Jeffries, Liam Burt and Jason Crones. And tonight's referee is Ryan Oliver. Looking through that Celtic lineup, first of all, Kenny, some experienced players in there. Aidan Nesbitt, of course, got a hat-trick in the way to winning this competition 2 years ago. Guys like Calvin Miller and Anthony Ralston with first-team experience as well. So a very experienced team sent out by Tommy McIntyre this evening.
And I think that'll tell. We were both at the recent under-17 elite round, and the players that had played up a level week to week, they stuck out like a sore thumb. And it's going to be the same tonight. And Rangers don't have that luxury to call on. They've got Ross McCrory, the captain, who's on loan at Dumbarton. Maybe we'll see that from him, but otherwise a very young team.
None more so than Billy Gilmore, only 15 years of age. I'm sure all of our viewers will be familiar with his name. He's a man who's been attracting many headlines in recent months. Chelsea, of course, interested in him, so a big night for him playing against some guys who are 5 years older than him.
Listen, everyone's seen his YouTube reel by now. There's no denying his talent. He could take his pick of any big club in Europe, and I've no doubt we'll see why tonight. But he's not the only one in that team. A lot of excitement around Zach Rudden, who's one of the stars of that Scotland under-17 team that are off to the Euros next week. So it's not all about Billy Gilmore, but he's certainly one to watch.
Well, Celtic certainly do have a rich history in this competition. They won the first Scottish FA Youth Cup back in 1984. They've gone on to win it a record 14 times since. Rangers some way behind on 6 times, but of course these sides did meet in the final just 2 years ago. 5-2 to Celtic that night. A bit of a treat that was for the fans, and Kenny, I'm sure, will be hoping for something similar tonight. And if you're in any doubt about what this cup final can do for players in terms of kicking on and getting first-team experience, well, only 2 years ago a certain Kieran Tierney lined up in the Celtic squad as well. I noticed that the hero from the weekend, Callum McGregor, he's played in 4 of these cup wins as well, so clearly many stars of the future have shown what they can do on this stage.
It's been a great launch pad for some of these boys down the years. Sean Maloney's another one who's featured, Charlie Adams, so both first-team coaching staffs represented tonight. You never know, if one player does one thing to catch the eye, then it's been worthwhile.
And of course a big occasion for these boys running out at the National Stadium. Of course it's only being played in front of a small band of family, friends and club representatives as well, but nevertheless a different challenge to perhaps some of the arenas that they'll have played in over the course of the Development League season.
It will be a real step up and a real challenge for everybody apart from Aidan McElduff, who's been on loan at Queen's Park. This will be running the mill for him, the Celtic left back, but no, it's a great arena, no complaints about the pitch. We'll see what they're made of.
Yeah, no secret as well, the size of the playing surface here at Hampden. You can see Celtic just going about the pre-match huddle. How important will it for these boys to get the ball down early, knock it about in the big surface and try and ease any pre-match nerves away?
I think more so for Rangers. That Celtic team's got so much experience from playing in the Youth League. They're flown all over to play against continental opposition. As we've touched on, it's a very, very young Rangers team. They're missing a couple of players that are on loan at Wraith, another couple that are injured or suspended, so especially for Rangers, it's important they get a strong start.
Yeah, Celtic really have scooshed their way to this stage. They've won all 4 of their games convincingly, haven't conceded a goal yet in the competition. Celtic Rangers have had to do it a bit of the hard way. They had to go to extra time in the semi-final against Kilmarnock, but they are here nevertheless and trying to get their hands on the trophy as we await the referee's signal to get us underway here at Hampden. Ryan Oliver does blow the whistle and gets us underway. First ball is going to be floated out to the left for Atakai to get underneath. Going to be easily headed clear by Celtic as Rangers just try and get the ball into the Celtic third early on. Back it goes to Houston. Calvin Miller closing him down. Houston does well just to get it out from under his feet. Goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Robbie McCrory. Of course has his twin brother Ross playing in front of him as well. Those two are no secret to teaming up together. And they're going to have a big task on their hands to keep this lively Celtic strike force at bay. But it's Rangers doing much of the attacking at the moment. There is that man Gilmore, just turns and tries side, gets it a bit wrong though. Atakai can't quite keep it in. Early throw into Rangers down on this near side.
It's hard to believe Calvin Miller's still young enough to play at this level. He's been a permanent fixture at this level for a few years now. I'm sure his dad Darren's watching at home in Malta.
Yeah, Calvin Miller got a vote of confidence from Brendan Rodgers, got a first team appearance against Partick Thistle earlier this season, albeit in an unfamiliar left back role. Here comes Celtic though. Gilmore goes to close down, 1-2, Nesbitt gets it back, crunching tackle from Gilmore there. Again, tackles flying in, referee happy to let play go on at this early stage though. As Gilmore collects, he's got Atakai outside him. A chance for the Rangers wide man just to run at the Celtic back line. In it comes, Dallas can't control it though. Shouts for a handball from the Rangers defence. Calvin Miller's going to chase this one into the corner. McCrory comes across. Does ever so well just to shepherd the ball out for a throw in on this near side. But already you can see Celtic trying to use the willing running of Calvin Miller down this left hand side.
Yeah, you can, and he'll run up and down all day. There's a big onus in Ross McCrory at right back for Rangers. He's an old head on young shoulders. Very mature young man. He'll have to hold them together at the back.
That is going to be a foul. Michael Johnson goes down in the centre circle. Referee Ryan Oliver does agree. We're going to have a free kick to Celtic. This might tell us a little bit about the Hoops' approach. Are they going to play direct and get this one right into the box? No, indeed they're not. Short ball to Wardrope. Finds Nesbitt. Just going back into Wardrope again, the captain. Tries to go round the corner. Mark Hill, he is closed down though.
I think it does say something for Nesbitt, Thompson and these boys that they're slogging their guts out through the week for championship teams. It's been a long, tiring season and they're happy to come back and play in these games. Yeah,
Aidan Nesbitt's got a small matter of some playoffs to focus on with Morton in the coming weeks, but he's back here with this Celtic under-20 side and trying to win this Scottish FA Youth Cup as he did 2 years ago. He was the main man that night, got a hat-trick here at the National Stadium, and he'll be hoping for a similar performance this evening. The ball just evades him this time though. Here goes Atakai down the right-hand side. McElduff does ever so well to get the better of him. Into the feet of Aitchison, loses out to McCrory. That's a heavy touch that time, and Aitchison takes a real sore one on top of the foot there. It was Aidan Wilson who went clattering into the Celtic front man. Celtic players surrounding referee Ryan Oliver, they're not happy with that challenge at all.
It's a really sharp touch from Aitchison.
To the feet of Aitchison, loses out. See it again, Aitchison. Often stems from a heavy touch, and indeed it did. Wilson just overstretches. Aitchison takes a real sore one on top of the foot there, and he's going to get a yellow card. Aidan Wilson, and as a centre back with only a matter of minutes, 3.5 minutes on the clock, Kenny, he's going to have to be careful.
He's put himself under pressure, especially somebody with the movement of Aitchison. He's somebody we've seen for a few years now. I remember seeing him score against Valencia. He must have been 15 before he played for Celtic, scored for their first team against Motherwell. Obvious talent. We both saw him for the under-17s in their elite round. Big things expected of him. You'd expect to see him feature for Celtic's first team in the next few weeks. Yeah,
already a couple of first team appearances for Brendan Rodgers' side this season has Jack Aitchison. Scored the winner in the under-17s Glasgow Cup final last week as well. So clearly everyone at Lennoxtown has high hopes for him. Going to be a long and hopeful effort from Anthony Ralston there. Never in danger of concerning Robbie McCrory in the Rangers goal. I think we'll put that one down as ambitious.
That's a cup final in the Hampden pitch. I don't care if you're a right back or a centre forward, you may as well have a go.
So Robbie McCrory happy to watch that one go over the bar as he prepares to get us back underway. Neither side really managing to threaten in the opening 4 minutes. The only real talking point, that Aidan Wilson yellow card for a heavy tackle on Jack Aitchison. As Rangers try to go long, the ball is out for a throw-in on the near side. Tommy McIntyre and Graham Murty down there in the technical areas. trying to inspire their players and hoping they too can get their hands on this Youth Cup here come full time. There's Rudden doing well just to track back. Good composure from him to turn as well. Looks to just float one over the top. Dallas is going to chase, but it is going to be Hazard who can clear long, high into the clear sky here above Hampden. Can't say that too often. That's a nice pass from Nesbitt, just floats it out to the right-hand side. Michael Johnson just trying to work his way into the byline. Indeed he does, tries to flash it across. Right into the hands of Robbie McCrory, though, does well and tries to get Rangers on the counter-attack quickly. There's Atakai. Pass from him's a loose one, though. Ralston thinks about going up the line, then just checks back. Across it comes to Josh Kerr, working it right across McElduff. Miller goes down. Referee says free kick. Graham Murty not too impressed with that one. He felt Jordan Houston did well to win the ball back. Referee says no.
I think we'll see those quick feet of Mikey Johnson a few times tonight. I was over in the Czech Republic recently with Scotland's under-19s, and he was by far the standout player. Final ball wasn't always there, but the technical ability certainly is. Yeah, has managed to chip in with a goal or two this season, Michael Johnson as well, so clearly plenty of attacking threat from Celtic. There goes Kerr, just looking for a direct approach to Aitchison over the top. McCrory always favourite though. The Rangers captain does well, just sees it out for a throw-in. McCrory reads the game well. I know he's had rave reviews since he's broken into the first team at Dumbarton. He's played centre-back, right-back, centre of midfield. As I said, old head and young shoulders. I'm sure McCrory, amongst others, will be feeling the benefits of playing first-team football at a competitive level on a Saturday afternoon. He's had a solid start here, has the Celtic captain. Back it comes though to McElduff. Just steps inside, there's Aitchison, the number 9, flicks it back. Celtic surrender possession. Rudden tries to play it out, but Hill gets there. Wardrobe just going to head it high into the air. Neither side really managing to take a stranglehold on this game. Only 6 minutes in, of course, still Celtic 0, Rangers 0 as McCrory goes long. It's a solid win from Ralston on the far side. Down the line it goes, loose pass again though. Yeah, it's been scrappy so far, but I think that's to be expected. Derby game on a big pitch, end of a long season. Certainly has been Celtic who've had the better of the teams in the Development League this season. A recent 4-0 win against Rangers. How much will that be playing on Rangers' minds early on, Kenny? Will they want to try and, you know, right some wrongs from that game? I suppose a cup final speaks for itself, but if they can start this game well and put some of that to bed. I don't think there's any inferiority complex within Rangers, but there's no denying from first team level right down to youth level, Celtic have had the upper hand. That's no secret. So no, Rangers would like to strike a blow back, no matter how minor. Rangers, of course, have won this competition in the not too distant past. Last won it in 2014. It was a dramatic night in Paisley that night though. 2-2 against Hearts, and had to win it via penalty kicks. So time will tell if we're going to go the distance here this evening. Just to give him his credit, I think it was the goalkeeper Liam Kelly that scored the winner that night. It was indeed. But both sides will be hoping to do it in a bit more conventional circumstances as Calvin Miller goes sliding in, trying to poke that ball home. Jordan Houston goes into the feet of Gilmore. Good tackle that from Celtic to win the ball back. Looking for the early delivery. Aitchison can't quite get there. Nesbitt does. And in the end, it does drift harmlessly wide of Robbie McCrory's goal, should I say. But Celtic on the front foot. Mark Hill's a specimen. He has been since he was a 13, 14-year-old that Hamilton wanted to play in their first team at that stage. He's developed quietly away from the limelight at Celtic. I think it just remains to be seen where his best position is, but no, he closed Billy Gilmore down quickly there. Decent delivery. So 2 half chances for Celtic in quick succession there as they look to try and take control of this match. So far the Rangers defence holding firm. Dallas doesn't know too much about that as it drops down on the far side. Lyon beaten to it. He's got himself a throw in though. I don't mind saying it, Aidan Nisbet's working much harder now than he did in days gone by. I think the loan move to Green Water's really done him a power of good. Used to be a lazy wee wido for all his talent, and it's good to see him adding to that side of his game. I don't suppose Jim Duffy would let him off with not doing his fair share. I can just imagine Jim Duffy barking instructions at him, so he's clearly benefiting from that first team experience down at Capello as Aitchison has it. Half chance for Celtic to break. Miller's got something to chase. He's got a long way to go though. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. I think that Scotland under-17 team that made it all the way to the semis of the Euros, and he was in the same UEFA team of the tournament as Patrick Roberts. So he's got a bit of catching up to do with Patrick Roberts, but he's done well for Morton this year.
Nisbet beaten to it that time as it comes out to this far side. McElduff takes a swipe at it, slices it high into the air. Good win. There's Atakai just trying to work it across to Rudden. Bounce of the ball just beating him though. Here comes Michael Johnson. He's got an overlap on from Ralston if he wants it. Does indeed poke the ball out to Ralston. He's just going to try and get to the byline. Swings it across and almost caught out of the near post. Ended up coming back off the post. I don't think even Anthony Ralston would claim that to be a shot, but it almost led to the opening goal here.
No, I don't know if that was by accident or design, but McCrory was down sharp to his left. His first real involvement.
You can see Ralston just taking the touch, flashing it across. Ends up bouncing back and McCrory has to steer away for a corner kick. So Rangers do have some defending to do here at Hampden. It's going to be that man Calvin Miller with the left boot on the far side. He's going to try and swing this one right into the danger area. Clear tactic from Celtic. They're all bunched up right on top of the goal line. In it comes and a free header at the back post. It was Josh Kerr with it. And in many ways he'll possibly feel he could have done better.
He could. Half expected him to bundle it over the line there. Good delivery from Calvin Miller. Don't think I'd be the only person surprised to see him pitched into the Celtic first team at left back this season. It's the last place that I'd expected to see him pop up, but good for him to get a taste. Brendan
Rodgers clearly felt he saw something in his game that could adapt to playing left back, but he's in a more familiar attacking role.
Who knew Brendan Rodgers knew more about the game than me?
Full of surprises. I know Calvin Miller has been in good goal scoring form recently. Banged in a recent hat-trick for the development team against Aberdeen, so he'll be hoping to try and capitalise on that good form here this evening as Rangers stride forward with it, looking to go long. Dallas can't get there. Bounces all the way through to McCrory. Just stepping towards the halfway line, comes out to Houston on this near side. Houston just looking to shape one up the line. Kerr just headers it high into the air. Atakai's going to keep it in. He's wrestling hard with McElduff. Good physical contest between those two down on Rangers' right-hand side so far.
McElduff's another one who's come on from first team involvement, first like Clyde and latterly Queen's Park.
Atakai doing well though. Clearly likes that physical battle and he's won himself a free kick in a dangerous position. Rangers with a real chance to put some pressure on this Celtic backline. They've had to soak up some pressure of their own in recent minutes, so a good chance for Rangers to make something happen.
Yeah, and maybe bring Zach Rudden into the play. He's been a wee bit isolated up front himself just now. But no, certainly in a great position now to threaten.
Atakai there, number 11, did ever so well to win the free kick. It's going to be whipped right into this danger area. Here it comes with the left boot, fired high and way over the bar. That was a real waste from a Rangers perspective.
Real chance for Rangers and a let-off for Celtic.
Graham Murty will be frustrated by that. A chance for Rangers to put some pressure on. The delivery wasn't a classic though. Over the top it went. The Celtic have it. Nisbet. Out it goes to Ralston. Thought about playing it early down the line to Johnson, but comes back inside. Here's Nisbet again. Showing good composure. Just edging his way towards the halfway line. Across it comes. Out to Calvin Miller. Miller thinks about taking on the shot, goes one way then the other. Calvin Miller, left foot, good defending. Rangers though. Now Atakai looking to break. Real end-to-end stuff, Kenny. You could just see Celtic trying to break forward. Miller doing well, but solid defending again from Rangers.
Yeah, they've been resolute, been well organised, well marshalled by Ross McCrory. Won't be the last time we say that.
Jordan Houston, another man who's had a brief taste of first-team experience. Didn't quite make it onto the pitch, but did get on the bench when Graham Murty was in his brief spell in charge of Rangers' first team.
I think that's the pleasing thing. I go to these Youth Cup finals every year, and most years you know that these boys will have to leave Celtic and Rangers to find their way. But now I think, for different reasons, there's a few boys on that pitch that have realistic pathways. I know some people hate the word pathways towards the first teams. Celtic have the opportunity to bring through people now. They've won the league. Rangers maybe through necessity more than design, but no, there's some of them have a real chance. Yeah, Jordan Houston enjoying a good season on a personal level. Did make it on the bench for that trip to Dundee. Has captained Scotland under-17s as well in recent games, so he'll be hoping he can add a Scottish FA Youth Cup winners medal to that success. Isn't it anyone that can play right back? If you're Scottish, you've got half a chance. No more left backs, we don't need any more of those. But if you're right back, we'll happily take it. Here goes long from McCrory.
Calvin Miller underneath it, headers it back in towards the centre circle. Gilmore with a terrific leap. Joe Thompson clearly a few inches taller than Billy Gilmore, but good spring from the Rangers midfielder.
So we did say this during the Victory Shield. For all he's got a bit of weight to put on, Billy Gilmore can mix it, don't worry about that.
Clearly likes putting himself about, as does Calvin Miller, closing down Houston there.
It'll be good to see how he's come on since the Victory Shield, because one thing Rangers have been good at this year is blooding a few of these boys up the age levels. Definitely bring them on quick up.
Billy Gilmore did cut a frustrated figure at times in the first half of the Glasgow Cup final last week. Couldn't really get on the ball, but then the first time he did, he made something happen, and Rangers equalised. So I'm sure Graham Murty and his Rangers players will be keen to get Gilmore on the ball and see what he can make happen, as Atakai wins another throw-in on this near side.
Atakai's plugged away really well for Rangers on the right.
Using his physical presence very well up against McElduff. There's Dallas, got a chance to get to the byline, thinks about crossing it. McElduff takes a bit of a chance there. Bit of a debate whether that was going to be a corner kick or not. Assistant referee says no.
What's your fun fact about Aidan McElduff?
I'm going to sit in that one for another half an hour or so.
Ah, okay.
If this is still goalless after 40 minutes, we can go for our fun Aidan McElduff fact of the evening.
I like your optimism.
The not so fun fact, just more of a home truth, clearly playing in familiar surroundings, enjoying a loan spell at Queen's Park at the moment, is Aidan McElduff. 9 appearances so far. I'm sure he'll have been telling all his Celtic teammates what to expect from the National Stadium. There's Nesbitt with it, just dances out towards the left-hand side, tries to burrow his way down the line. Atakai and Houston doing well to defend yet again. There's a lot to like about this Rangers right-hand side, Kenny.
Yep, there is. They're working hard, asking questions of Celtic. I think questions also deserve to be asked about Aidan Nesbitt's headband, but maybe that's a conversation for later on as well. For all I like him, I'm not having that.
I think that's very much a modern footballer accessory. The less said about that, the better, as Celtic come forward, moving towards the edge of the 18-yard box. It was a bit of a half-hearted attempt at the end.
I'm not letting this drop. There's no chance that Jim Duffy's happy with that.
I don't think Jim Duffy will mind me pointing out it's been a long time since he had to think about headbands, so we'll move on because I do not want to upset that man.
No, we've seen what happens in recent weeks when someone winds up Jim Duffy.
Moving swiftly on as Robbie McCrory goes to get us back underway with the goal kick. Rangers more than happy just to play long from goal kick situations, try and get Celtic turned and get in behind. Hasn't quite come off yet, but interesting to see the different strategies from both sides so far. Jordan Houston just assessing his options. Atakai's down the line, chooses to go infield to Gilmore though. Tidy play from him. Celtic win it back. McElduff though taking on a bit too much. Thompson coming away with it as well. Thompson tries to knock it down the line, just asking a bit too much of Calvin Miller. And Jack Aitchison closing down, and Robbie McCrory taking a bit of a chance there. A few hearts and mouths from the Rangers fans.
We think Ross McCrory would know which foot Robbie McCrory prefers the ball to be kicked to. No sign of brotherly love there. I think Robbie's telling Ross right now exactly what he thinks of him.
Graham Murty showing his appreciation though for the way the Rangers backline dealt with that situation.
Change of scene for Graham Murty after his first team involvement. Don't think it's done his reputation any harm.
Yeah, Rangers fans had to endure a fairly difficult spell at the beginning of life under Graham Murty, but he won many of them over with that impressive draw against Celtic's first team.
And he conducted himself really well, and certainly feels the benefit of the experience, having spoken to him a couple of days ago at the pre-match press conference. Spoke highly of this Rangers team, talked about how young they were, their general philosophy. I think there's been a few changes at youth level at Rangers within the last couple of years and starting to bear fruit.
Yeah, worth pointing out, this is of course an under-20 competition. Rangers have tried to maintain an average age of 17 and a half throughout the competition, so clearly on many occasions playing a young side against more experienced opposition, but that doesn't matter too much on nights like this. It's winner takes all.
Should be said that Celtic are a good bit further on. They've more experienced players, they've been playing together for a long time. Rangers have got a bit of catching up to do, but the signs are promising for both. Well,
with 20 minutes on the clock, there's not a great deal between the sides here at Hampden. It is still goalless. Celtic doing most of the attacking. Here's Anthony Ralston going on the overlap again, bursting into the box, just checks back, squares it across. Gilmore doing well to get back though. doing the dirty side of the game, had to track his runner all the way back. It's a nice turn that from Michael Johnson, lovely piece of skill, down he goes. And referee Ryan Oliver says free kick to Celtic.
As I said earlier about Johnson, in the recent under-19 elite round, the opposition just couldn't handle him.
Clearly see the confidence he had there. This is the attack from Ralston, just checking back, trying to pick out a midfield runner, but Gilmore was there.
As you said, not afraid to do the dirty side of the game. He's no luxury player.
It was a lovely back heel that from Michael Johnson. Has won his side a free kick. He's going to be joined over on the far side by Calvin Miller. Just depends whether Celtic want to go with the in-swinging or out-swinging delivery. Referee Ryan Oliver just getting the magic spray out, telling Billy Gilmore where to go.
Calvin Miller likes the big stage. I remember seeing him at Starks Park score the winner for Scotland against England in the Victory Shield. He's come a long way since then.
So Miller and Johnson over the ball. Chance to put Rangers under a bit of pressure. It's going to be Johnson, just floats it in. High, headed well clear though. Ball's not dead yet. Jack Aitchison has it. Right footed it comes, back to Hill. And Aitchison. Aitchison's put under a good bit of pressure. Rangers really battling hard to win the ball back, and it's forced Celtic into a fairly desperate crossfield pass. Is going to be kept in though by Hill.
Yeah, Hill made up a lot of ground there.
Back he goes to Hazard and goal. And again, that's both sides perhaps slightly guilty of wasting good set-piece opportunities.
Yep, and that's strange given the players that are on show. It's not been what we wanted.
That man, Zach Rudden, another man who's having a good season. He's going to be off to Croatia shortly with Scotland under-17s for the European Championships. Scored in the elite round qualifying as well. He's enjoying his football at the moment.
Rudden's someone I really like. I'm sure we'll talk about him more as the game goes on. He was another that was part of that under-17s group that got to the semi-finals, even though I think he was 15 at the time. He's a lively player, shall we say, a lively personality. And you can see that on the pitch.
Long it goes, Aitchison doing well to hold it in. Just nicks it away from the Rangers defence. There's Johnson. Fires it into Nesbitt, out to Aitchison. Nice triangle from Celtic, back into Nesbitt. Lifts his head, comes across. Just looking for a passing option. Not a great deal on for him. There is an overlapping run if he can find it though. Atakai doing well to defend. Houston there as well, but Celtic closing down well. McElduff out to Miller. Miller just feinting one way then the other. Right-footed cross comes in. Johnson's underneath it. All credit to Ross Lyon on the far side. And here is that man, Rudden. Loose touch from him though. Headed up into the air. Celtic again with it. All the way back to Wardrop. Out it goes to Hill. Hill happy just to play the Scott Brown role, if we can call it that. Dropping deep, taking the ball off the centre-backs. Don't want to put too much pressure on him.
No, but there are similarities there. He is someone that likes to try and boss the midfield, throw his weight around. Scott Brown's worked a lot with the Celtic under-20 side, so no, I'm sure he's passed on a few tips and tricks.
Here's the captain, Wardrop. Lifts his head, tries to stride forward, crosses the halfway line into Aitchison. Uncharacteristic giving away of possession from him there though. He's working hard to try and win it back. Long ball, can't find a blue jersey. Calvin Miller has it. Just wondered if he fancied a run up the line. Indeed he does. Down he goes. The referee says no, Calvin Miller's not impressed with that, but Atakai did manage to get the ball. Here's Gilmore to Houston.
Atakai's worked really hard. There's been no real reward for him yet. I'm sure it'll come if he keeps plugging away.
We have passed the midway point of the first half. It is still goalless. Nothing really to get excited about in front of goal. A couple of half chances for Celtic. The Rangers have been more content doing a bit of a containment job on the hoops. There goes Ralston, just looking down the line though. Ambitious pass from him all the way through to McCrory.
It's been a wee bit more direct than I've seen from both these sides this season.
It's a chilly night here at Hampden. Sets of fans not really getting too much to get excited about so far, but here come Rangers. Across it comes. Here's Houston. Chance for him perhaps to lift one into the box. Indeed he does. Gilmore's peeled off. It's just going to be too much on it for him though.
You're right, it is freezing, and there's confirmation that Calvin Miller's dad is indeed watching from Malta, so Darren, you've definitely got the right idea.
Miles Bierman amongst the Rangers travelling party as well, of course, stepped up to play an important role for Pedro Caixinha's first team in recent weeks. Unfortunately for him, he would have been suspended for tonight's game anyway, so he'll just have to cheer his teammates on from the side. Connor Hazard absolutely in no rush to get us back underway. Eventually does float one up to halfway. Celtic were happy to play it from the back early on, but adopting a more direct approach as we move into the 26th minute here at Hampden. It's a real physical battle so far. Both sides will be hoping to play a bit more football as the game progresses. And here come Rangers. Nice play, Dallas gives it back. Going to try and switch the play out to Atakai. Good crunching challenge, McElduff though. He's got Houston there for company as well. Miller back helping him out. Calvin Miller taking absolutely no chances there, just decides to put that one out for a throw in, a bit to the bemusement of those around him.
No, it's been that kind of game so far. Safety first. We get a shot at some of the assorted Scottish football personalities that are there. Scott Leach, Lee McCulloch.
Keeping an eye on the youth competition. Scott Leach, of course, saw his Motherwell team win this trophy a year ago. Knocked out at the semi-final stage by Celtic just a few weeks back.
It's taken you 26 minutes to mention that, Gordon. Congratulations.
Here goes Jordan Houston down the line to Atakai. Just trying to take McElduff on the outside. McElduff does well though. Sticks out a leg, comes away with it into Nesbitt. Just tries to go first time. McElduff as well. One-touch stuff from Celtic. There's Nesbitt. You can see him thinking about switching the play. Just delays and brings in Ralston. Ralston driving forward. He's got Dallas with him. Out it goes to Johnson though. Johnson yet again going to that byline. Celtic having real success as the ball comes across, and again McCrory gathers. That's been a real feature of Celtic's play, getting the ball wide to Johnson and seeing what he can do in a one-on-one situation.
Celtic have got real strength in both full-back areas and wide positions. Both full-backs like to overlap, both wingers like to take their man on. Rangers are really going to have to be sharp at the back.
I do have some sympathy for Ross Lyon in the Rangers left-back position, because I'm sure he and Graham Murty will be hoping that perhaps some of his Rangers midfielders could help him out when he goes one-on-one with Johnson.
He definitely needs some protection, because if he ties himself up with Johnson, then you'll see Ralston on the overlap all day. Good tracking back from Rudden again. Like Gilmore, it's not the side of the game you would associate him with, but working hard for the team.
A bit of a lull in play. As Rangers just looking to recover from that slight kick to the back of the leg.
Talk about that Motherwell Hearts game from last year, and it does show how this game can be a launch pad for people. I remember Chris Cadden and Dom Thomas impressed that night for Motherwell, and a host of other boys that have had first team appearances. Liam Smith caught the eye for Hearts. Angus Beath was involved. I think Jordan McGee was playing as an overage player. Just
seeing that challenge again. Jamie Barchonis going down. Took a bit of a sore one from Joe Thompson. He is back on his feet now though. You can see just trying to get there in front of his Celtic opposite number. And took a sore one for his trouble.
Joe Thompson's never been shy about leaving a foot in. He's someone that's grown up quickly, playing in the Championship on loan. Impressed at Dumbarton. He's doing the same at Queen of the South now. I think it'll be interesting to see where he ends up potentially on loan next season.
So Rangers get us back underway then. Diagonal ball doesn't quite come off. Celtic have it, back to Ralston. Ralston goes long down the line. Immaculate touch from Aidan Nesbitt. He still has it as well. Good footwork from him. In it comes to the midfield. Celtic just driving forward, trying to float one out to the left-hand side. And again, you can see the frustration from some of the Celtic players there. Worked a fairly decent opening. And there's the man I'm sure they're all trying to impress, Brendan Rodgers, alongside the likes of Malky Mackay, John Kennedy, Chris Davis. And of course some international representation there as well.
Yep, good to see Scott Gemmell. He'll take charge of the under-17s next week. He's under-21 manager and performance director Malky Mackay alongside him.
Chance for Rangers though. Zach Rudden has it on the right-hand side. We know he's a powerful runner, just trying to hold off the Celtic defence. Tries to cut back inside, falls kindly for Atakai. He's going to get to the byline and flash one across. Half cleared, here's Gilmore. And in the end, it does go out for a corner kick to Rangers, but that's more encouraging from Graham Murty's men.
Yeah, and it's all come from Rudden and Atakai working the socks off again, forcing their own luck. Like to see Rudden facing the goal at some point tonight, but this is the other side of his play.
Those long strides, Zach Rudden, just holding off the Celtic defence. Atakai did well to flash the ball across. Wardrope half cleared it. Gilmore couldn't quite get the shot away but he is going to get the chance to make something happen with the corner. Here it comes, Gilmore right-footed. It's a great clearing header though from the Celtic backline. Josh Kerr it was who rose highest just to bullet that header clear. Gilmore still has it though. Back across to Barconas. Atakai taking it on from distance, way over the bar in the end. And as we've already seen up the other end, I suppose these players just trying to make a name for themselves in this cup final.
Absolutely, and why not? We've seen a lot more of the Rangers centre-backs so far, but I've always liked the look of Sam Wardrobe and Josh Kerr at the back for Celtic. They've got real strength and depth. Slack
clearance from Celtic. Atakai has it, down he goes. Referee not impressed. Calvin Miller on the left-hand side. Just tries to dink it into Nesbitt. Aitchison gives it back to Miller though. Ends up getting in Calvin Miller's way, does Jack Aitchison. Terrific challenge from McCrory. The ball breaks to Hill. Back to Kerr.
Aidan Nesbitt just telling him to calm down a bit. Stop trying to force it.
It's been a real feature of the play from both sides so far. Half an hour gone. I'm sure both sides will be fairly frustrated with the way they've given the ball away on certain occasions.
I think I can say this now that nothing materialised, but when I was at the under-17s, the year they got to the semis, I found myself sitting next to Porto's chief scout, and Nesbitt was the name he picked out. Nesbitt was the one he wanted to know all about. I don't know if that big money bid got lost in the post, but certainly Nesbitt was the one that caught the eye.
Well, he's got some work to do if he wants to catch the eye here this evening, as Robbie McCrory goes long towards Atakai again. Atakai battling hard. McElduff more than willing to mix it as well though, as Rangers come forward once more. Back into the centre circle. Barhonas just floating it over the top. Atakai could be in here, nice touch out of his feet. Is he going to keep it in? And he squares it across. Sam Wardrop has to clear for Celtic, but a real chance for Rangers to open the scoring.
Atakai really has been one of the players that's caught the eye so far, and unselfish from him there. He did all the hard bit himself. Could maybe have tried to shoot with outside his foot, but no. Picked his head up, played it back. Wardrop did well to cut it out.
So signs of encouragement from Graham Murty's side then. Two corners in relatively quick succession. Billy Gilmore going to take it from the other side this time. He's going to swing this one in right-footed. McCrory's making a deep run. It's in towards McCrory, but Hazard comes and collects. Always good for a goalkeeper to come and take one of those out there. It's been 32 minutes really before Conor Hazard's had to come and get one, but took the pressure off his team well there.
Yep, a real confidence booster for that Celtic backline. I think again there at the other end we saw the strong running from Jack Aitchison, which belies his age.
So here's Aidan Nesbitt, just turning away from Gilmore. It's a loose pass though. Houston able to come forward for Rangers. Rudden's pointing, he wants it in behind. The pass can't find him though. McElduff barged in the back, legally though. It's a nice pass from Nesbitt out to Ralston. He's got some pitch to move into if he wants it. Ralston goes out to Johnson. This time Johnson choosing to cut infield. Rangers defenders can't quite get near him. Out it goes to Aitchison. Aitchison nearing the corner flag. He's going to have to come back to find a teammate. Ralston's near him, but other than that, no real support. Nice play, Aitchison down the line though. Ralston swings it in. It's off the shoulder, I think, of Ross Lyon out for a corner kick. And game really starting to stretch, Kenny. 33 minutes gone. It may be goalless, but that's both sides really swinging from one end to the other. And Aitchison and Ralston combining well down the right-hand side.
Yeah, they did, and a similar sort of story to Rudden. Aitchison's had to do a lot of unselfish work up front, but you can see the class of his touch and his hold-up play. He's been well schooled.
Small band of Rangers fans looking for something to get excited about here at Hampden. As Calvin Miller goes early into the feet of Johnson, dances away to the byline, cross it comes, Rudden's there. Johnson might get a second bite at it, down he goes. Celtic claiming for a penalty. Referee Ryan Oliver not impressed.
Johnson's adamant.
Interested to get another look at that one though, as Rangers go long. Hill just fires it up the line. Loose ball picked up by the Rangers midfield, coming forward. Rudden can't get there, intercepted. Yet again, we're seeing both sides trying to come forward with the ball, trying to play balls in behind, but really not giving the attackers too much of a chance.
No, he did not. I think the penalty claim shows the merit of trying to give Johnson the ball in the box at every opportunity, because he has a sharp touch, quick feet, liable to cause damage.
Certainly has been one of the sharper performers this evening, and I think they call that the commentator's curse as he gives it away.
With a heavy first touch. Yep, brilliant. I'll shut up now.
There is Jordan Houston, just fires it out to Atakai. It was a difficult ball to control, in fairness. But the Rangers winger couldn't quite keep it in. We're going to get another look at that as the ball comes across. You can see it just bouncing along. And Johnson took a bit of a kick in the knee there, and down he went. Not sure there was a great deal in it.
No, Johnson was adamant, but I'm not sure there was much in it. Worth a claim.
So still awaiting the opening goal here at Hampden. Been limited to 1 or 2 half chances as Aidan Nisbet intercepts. Tidy footwork, dances away from Houston. Here's Miller, lifts his head, tries to swing it across. Atakai yet again tracking back to concede a corner. And the Rangers wide men really have worked their socks off doing their defensive duties as well so far.
Yeah, and they've had to. We spoke about Celtic's right-hand side, but it's been the same in the left. Aidan McElduff's overlapped at every opportunity, and Calvin Miller only knows how to be direct.
Tommy McIntyre just going back into his dugout, perhaps to discuss the game plan with his staff. 10 minutes to go till half-time. I'm sure both sides absolutely desperate to take a lead into the break if they can. Celtic have a chance from the corner kick. Here comes Michael Johnson, choosing again just to float it in. We've not seen too many pacey deliveries. Both teams really happy just to dink the balls in. Celtic with it on the right-hand side. That's a lovely bit of footwork from Nisbet. He's got Ralston outside him, trying to go alone though, Nisbet. Just going one way then the other, and in the end, just bit off a little bit more than he could chew.
Yeah, he's in the mood tonight. Demanding the ball at every opportunity. I think Tommy McIntyre's got options if he wants to change it up later on. It's a strong bench Celtic have got, the likes of Regan Hendry, Theo Archibald, PJ Crossan, Kerr McInroy, who did well for the under-17s. Certainly can mix it up if he wants to.
Aidan Nisbet with his head in his hands at giving the ball away there. He felt he had won himself a corner kick. Referee said no. It's going to be Celtic to get us back underway on the far side. Mark Hill with the throw. Perhaps going to see our first long throw of the evening. Certainly giving the ball a good dry anyway. He's thinking about it. He's got Johnson for company, but here comes Mark Hill with the long throw. It's bouncing in the penalty box. Houston half clears it out. It comes to Miller, left-footed. Smashes it off the shins of Atakai. Houston working hard to keep it in, but yet another corner to Celtic. And you can see Graham Murty slightly frustrated there. The Rangers backline allowing the ball to bounce almost right on the 6-yard line.
Oh, well, Atakai had to intervene. I think that Miller shot was heading for a throw-in, but can't take any chances.
So Michael Johnson's going to get a second bite at the corner kick, hoping to be a little bit more effective than he was a minute or two ago. Zach Rudden there defending the front post. Jack Aitchison looking for the short ball, and he gets it. Aitchison back to Johnson. Johnson thought about the first time cross, lifts his head, just floats it into the back post. Header back across goal. Danger not clear for Rangers. Here's Johnson, back onto the right foot, back heel. Calvin Miller. Miller just dinks one in, and again Celtic with the header and fired in, bottom corner. And we do have our opening goal of the evening. A lovely right-footed finish. The ball came across. And absolutely no mistake from Sam Wardrope, the Celtic captain, as he did 2 years ago, got on the score sheet against Rangers, and it's Celtic 1, Rangers 0.
Yep, Sam deserves that. He's a bit of an unheralded influence at the back there, like Ross McCrory, an old head and young shoulders, but certainly a threat in the attacking third again. Did well to steal in here. That's all come from Rangers not being able to defend the short corner. Mikey Johnson dropping off, causing havoc. And a striker's finish from Wardrope.
It's actually Wardrope's header that started it all off. His header back across goal wasn't fully cleared, and when the ball came back in, Aitchison, the man who kept it alive. You can see Johnson there as well. Calvin Miller all linking well down that left-hand side. Miller just floating the ball in, and when it fell to Wardrope, he made absolutely no mistake, burying the ball beyond Robbie McCrory and into the bottom corner. And finally, after 38 minutes, we do have an opening goal. Celtic 1, Rangers 0, and it's the Hoops on the attack again as Aitchison just takes his eye off the ball completely and ends up kicking the ball out for a goal kick.
It's very similar to the Martin Wycorn dribble that's done the rounds on social media in the last few days. We've all been there.
Jack Aitchison too busy looking for a pass and ends up just kicking the ball out for a goal kick. McCrory goes short to his defence but gets it back. Rangers taking a bit of a chance. That's a heavy pass. McCrory is going to keep it in, but really surrendered some vital territory there, Rangers. McCrory forced to go long. Rudden comes. Heavy touch from him, but Baronas does well, wins it back. Rudden's running through the middle. He's pointing, wanting the ball in behind. Rangers can't find him, though. There's Ashmore. Gilmore takes a heavy tackle.
Celtic giving Gilmore no time on the ball at all. Worked hard to press him right from the first whistle. I think the goal was coming though. Rangers were gradually retreating further and further back. Celtic with most of the pressure.
Billy Gilmore just plays that free kick out to the left-hand side, allowing Rangers to try and work their way forward. Neat 1-2. Ball dinked over the top. Atakai's in there as well, but Azar does well, comes off his line and collects. I'm sure Graham Murty will be very, very keen to try and get that equaliser before the break. We always talk about important times to score in football. Well, this would be one of them. And on the flip side, he'll be desperate not to concede a second before the break as Aitchison loses out. Wins it back though from Gilmore. Crunching tackle again. Out it comes to Miller. He's got Nesbitt down the line if he wants it. Miller tries to take it on himself. Good defending, Jordan Houston. Miller wins it back. Referee Ryan Oliver says Jordan Houston a bit too aggressive in his attempts to retain possession there. And yet another free kick to Celtic.
Good positive play from Calvin Miller. He's as tenacious as he is tricky. I don't think there's really much more Rangers could have done, to be honest. We spoke about it before the game. Celtic, heavily experienced team, a lot of talent. Rangers couldn't really have worked any harder. They just have to dig into half-time.
Celtic trying to press that advantage home. Here comes Calvin Miller, just floats it into the danger area. Good take though, Robbie McCrory. He bowls it out first time, but he's given it away to Anthony Ralston. Ralston's just going to try and put another ball into the danger area. Towards the byline he goes, stings the palms of McCrory. He gathers at the second time of asking. He clearly learned his lesson, looking for a more cautious approach this time. Out it comes though to Houston. Houston, nice footwork from him, takes him away from Miller. Pass can't find the feet of Rudden though.
Rudden's cutting a really frustrated figure now. They have to find a way of getting him on the ball.
He makes yet another run in behind, but doesn't get it. Gilmore works the 1-2 with Lyon. Lyon back to Gilmore. Gilmore loses it. There's Ralston.
It's a steep learning curve for boys like Billy Gilmore playing up a few age levels like this. But that's the theory, isn't it? You push them out of their comfort zone and they'll be all the better for it.
There's Jordan Houston underneath it, battling hard with McElduff. McElduff comes out on top. Back into Thompson. Crunching tackle in the midfield. Quick play from Rangers. Atakai running at McElduff. He does ever so well on the outside. Just looking to lift his head. Dinks one into the middle. Cleared by Celtic. Back in though. Gilmore's up as well. Volleyed high over the bar. Max Ashmore, we've not seen too much of him so far, the Rangers number 4. Fancied his chances there. But in the end, he gets that volley all wrong.
Full marks for effort, no marks for precision. A few of his teammates in the dugout seem to agree. I don't think he'll hear the end of that shot.
The Rangers substitutes just chewing over the first half action as the opening period comes towards a close. They're separated only by that Sam Wardrop goal on 38 minutes. Celtic perhaps shaded the play, but Rangers have had their moments. They've defended well. But it is Celtic who hold the advantage as Gilmore goes out to the left-hand side. Atakai again. McElduff though equal to it. There's Miller. Brings it under control eventually. But it's a loose pass from him. Hill has it. Out to Ralston. Ralston down the line to Johnson. Much better that time from Ross Lyon. Clearly knows he must get tight to Michael Johnson, or he's in for a difficult evening if he allows the Celtic winger to turn.
We've said it a few times now, those Rangers fullbacks just have to keep doing the simple thing. They have to keep getting tight, keep sticking a foot in, and really hope for protection in front of them, or it's going to be a long night.
Connor Hazard with the left boot over the top, and Calvin Miller might be in here. McCrory can't get there, and Calvin Miller's gone round the goalkeeper. Going to be a simple finish for Calvin Miller. Celtic 2, Rangers 0. A real mix-up at the back from Rangers. It was a long ball. Ross McCrory didn't get there. He managed to just get a bit of a touch on it, but in the end played it into the path of Calvin Miller. Well, Robbie McCrory was the man who raced from his goal. He tried to rescue the situation, but in the end the Celtic winger left with a very simple finish.
I think 9 times out of 10 Ross McCrory would have been okay with that short-headed back pass. Robbie McCrory was out quickly, but Calvin Miller is so sharp, onto it in a flash.
And in the end, Miller doesn't actually touch it. It's just his presence that manages to confuse Robbie McCrory in the Rangers goal. And all of a sudden, from Rangers very much hanging on in there and doing well, they find themselves 2 goals down as the first half draws to a close, and all of a sudden a very different complexion on things.
It is, and there's that big game player, Calvin Miller, once again. He's a nuisance, he's on the front foot, he's positive, and he gets his reward.
Calvin Miller clearly delighted with that effort. We did say he's been in good goal scoring form recently, and there goes the half-time whistle. Referee Ryan Oliver brings things to a close here at Hampden. And you can see the Celtic players with a real spring in their step as they come off. They lead at half-time by 2-0. We had to wait until the 38th minute for the opening goal. It was a cross that eventually fell to captain Sam Wardrobe. He was up from the back. He showed all the composure in the world to just rifle the finish into the bottom corner. Celtic clearly feeling confident at that point, and just before the break, in fact the last action of the first half, we got our second goal of the evening. A long ball, a real mix-up in the Rangers backline, and that allowed Calvin Miller to tap into the empty net and make it Celtic 2, Rangers 0 at the break. And just your brief thoughts on that first half, Kenny.
It's really difficult on Ross McCrory. You can tell, looking at him coming off, how disappointed he is. He's done his best to hold that Rangers backline together, but I think as we saw the first half wind on, Celtic's dominance was starting to tell, and they got the reward. Well,
as you can see, some important dates to put in your diary as far as the Scottish FA are concerned. 3rd of May, not too far away, the Scotland under-17s in their opening European Championship fixture, and of course 27th of May back here at Hampden, the Scottish Cup final between Celtic and Aberdeen. The big games just keep coming throughout the spring and summer. The under-20s are off to the prestigious Toulon tournament. That kicks off on the 31st of May. And then the big one, 10th of June, Scotland against England. Of course, looking a bit further afield, if we can even look past that big fixture, the 19th of July, we've got the Scottish women's national team there in European Championship action over in Holland as well. That campaign kicking off on the 19th of July. So there's some important dates for your calendar. And of course, this is the second Celtic Rangers fixture in a matter of days. So for those of you who've forgotten or perhaps want to relive what happened here at Hampden between Celtic and Rangers in the Scottish Cup semi-final on Sunday, let's take a look at the best of the action.
In 2014, St Johnstone won the Scottish Cup for the first time. In 2015, Inverness did the same. In 2016, Hibs won it for the first time since 1902. Adam Rooney is onto it already, and that is the way to start a semi-final. 12 seconds on the clock, and Aberdeen hit the front just like that. Christie to whip it in, and he's found a way to goal. Aberdeen, so eager, so hungry to book a return ticket here for the final. Take a 2-0 lead. Boyle. Hibs know they need to score the next goal to keep their Scottish Cup hopes alive. It's in there, and they have done just that. Talk about making an immediate impact. Grant Holt scores just after coming on. They're not giving up their grip on the Scottish Cup yet. McGeoch. What will happen next in this semi-final? Stevenson supporting. Grant Holt is there too. McGeoch! An astonishing comeback from the Scottish Cup holders. They just don't want to let this trophy go. Dylan McGeoch. O'Connor. Hayes. Johnny Hayes wriggling clear, and the deflection takes it in. Could that be the moment that matters? Aberdeen are staring in a place in the Scottish Cup final. And it's a corner for Hibs in stoppage time. That sounds familiar, and Marciano's coming up for it. Cummings is the man to take it. Marciano! Oh, what a a story that would have been! Plucked out of the air by his opposite number, and that should be Aberdeen in the final. An enthralling end to a captivating cup tie, but Aberdeen have done it after losing their last 4 Scottish Cup semi-finals. Their time has come. McGregor, Armstrong has gone for goal and came so very close. Dembele, supported here by McGregor. Talk about laying down an early marker. Callum McGregor scores, and Celtic, crucially, have an early lead. It's away by Boyata, and he's released Roberts, who has Griffiths ahead. Tavernier looking to make up ground here. Gives a penalty and a yellow card for Tavernier.
Yeah, I think it's as clear a penalty as you're likely to see.
Scott Sinclair, he's done it! Just! Celtic are in a rush to reach the final now and to send their old firm rivals packing. Willie Collum did consult Don Robertson behind that goal. Griffiths took it so well! Terrific save from Fodringham. Griffiths let it go. Roberts! Good save from Fodringham.
The Rangers keeper is keeping his team in it at the moment.
Mackay takes Bates and Heinemann. Tavernier, Miller! Saved by Gordon. That could have been a route back for Rangers. Dodu just have made room for the cross, and it's come to Kenny Miller, and Gordon defiant again. He hasn't had much to do, Craig Gordon, but when called upon, he's been there to foil Kenny Miller. Rogic! Smacking the post. Dodu. Kenny Miller room around the outside, and Dodu brings a decent save out of Craig Gordon. Brendan Rodgers and his Invincibles march on to the Scottish Cup final.
Welcome back to Hampden half-time in the 2017 Scottish FA Youth Cup final, where at the break the scoreline is Celtic 2, Rangers 0. Sam Wardrop and Calvin Miller with the goal for Tommy McIntyre's side. And for all Rangers, defended very well for most of that half, Kenny. It really is now a difficult uphill battle for them. If we just take a look at some of the action from the first half, and this was the early heavy challenge by Aidan Wilson and Jack Aitchison, and that led to the only card of the evening so far.
He did, and he put himself under maybe unnecessary pressure. But you can't hold back.
You see Rangers there, that was Atakai. He's been a real willing runner all night, both in defence and attack, just flashing that one across. But it's been the Celtic right-hand side that's got most of the joy. You see Ralston and Johnson combining well.
That was the two sides of Sam Wardrop's game, though, because it was him that cut out the pressure at one end, and then rifled the ball in at the other.
Well, let's take a look at that opening goal then. It was Johnson and Miller. They were the ones who combined down the left-hand side. Miller just stood it up, and when it was flicked into the path of Wardrop, he made no mistake finding the bottom corner, finishing like a striker, really. And that set Celtic on their way. The second goal did follow quite quickly after, but it was the first one that really did calm any nerves that Celtic had. They'd been a bit anxious in front of goal, but Wardrop managing to bury the finish. And you can see the frustration from the Rangers players there as Wardrope laps up the applause of his teammates. And the second one, real simple stuff. Celtic just going long over the top, and you can see Kenny, the Rangers backline, getting themselves in a bit of a mess.
Yeah, there's confusion between the brothers, Robbie and Ross. As I said, I think most of the time they would have got away with that, but Miller's no slouch, took advantage. So we said before the game, Rangers are giving away a few years in experience and know-how. It was always going to be an uphill battle for them tonight. I think they've stuck to their task. Celtic's superior class maybe telling a wee bit.
Yeah, Calvin Miller left with a fairly simple finish there after the mix-up between the McCrorys, Robbie and Ross. And far be it for us to second-guess Graham Murty and Tommy McIntyre, Kenny, but what will be the contrasting messages down there at half-time? Let's go Graham Murty first, because you can see, you know, with 7 or 8 minutes to go in the half, Rangers are still level, they're competing well, they're defending well, they're making life difficult for Celtic. Now they go in at the break 2-0 down. What's the main message going to be from Graham Murty in there at half-time?
I think it's difficult for Rangers because their options are limited compared to Celtic, but I think they have to try and get Atakai on the ball at every opportunity, because I think he's had some joy in that right-hand side. And we mentioned it a few times in the first half, they have to get more bodies in and around Rudden, because as good a player as he is, he's been a bit too isolated so far. They have to find a way to support Rudden. And
you can see the Rangers substitutes just going about their half-time warm-up. You look at the names on the bench, certainly does have options. Liam Burke, for one, he's a standout name in the sense that he's had first-team experience. Other guys like Jordan Gibson on there as well, Josh Jeffries. Just wonder if he would be tempted to make a half-time change.
I could see Burke coming on before too long. He's another one that I've seen plenty of. He can pick a through ball, he can mix it up a bit physically. And maybe that's what Murty will look for, because certainly compared to Celtic, his options are limited.
On the flip side of that, what will Tommy McIntyre be saying to his players? Because I can imagine he sets quite high standards, and the performance probably hasn't quite been as fluent as he would have liked. But having said that, they're 2-0 up in a cup final, so perhaps you can't be too picky.
No, they can afford to be patient, play the normal game. As we mentioned, he's certainly got options in the final third, like the PJ Cross and Theo Archibald can come on to stretch things even more in the Rangers back line. So no, he's in a good position.
Celtic substitutes as well. There's some familiar names amongst them. Regan Hendry perhaps finds himself a little bit unfortunate to be out the team. He's been banging in some important goals recently. PJ Crossan's a danger as well. Kerr McInroy was a player we saw in the under-17s game last week. Another member of that Scotland under-17 squad who's heading to Croatia. So both teams with various options on the bench should they want to change things up.
Theo Archibald, I think, is Brentford bound as well. Maybe a chance for him to leave some sort of mark before he heads south.
Just getting yet another look at those goals, and you can see Rangers, they had men back in numbers. Rudden was back there as well, lying, but in the end it was a clever back heel. Calvin Miller just stood the ball up, and Aitchison didn't actually get a lot on it. It was a poor header, but Wardrope, all credit to him, real composure from a defender.
You could see the progression in Calvin Miller's game as well, because in his younger days maybe he doesn't raise the head, he maybe just drills it across. He looked up, picked out his man, Wardrope did the rest. The second goal's painful to watch from a Rangers perspective.
Yeah, because for all Celtic had been pressing, Rangers had defended fairly well up until that point. Jordan Houston had been solid, Ross McCrory had been reading the game well. But it wasn't to be in that occasion, and as Rangers come back out onto the field here at Hampden, they find themselves 2 goals down and facing an uphill battle to get back into this one. There's that man, Zach Rudden. He's done plenty of running in behind, but all too often his Rangers teammates have failed to find him in the final third. Robbie McCrory, a frustrating evening for him so far. For the most part, did his job well, collected a couple of crosses, got his body in the way, but in the crucial moment just got in a bit of a mix-up with his twin brother Ross, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. I can tell you Rangers are indeed going to make a change. It is going to be Josh Jeffries who's going to enter the field, and we await news of which player he's going to be replacing.
Josh will bring a bit of energy into the engine room. Certainly they have to try and find a way to get close to Aidan Nisbet, because as the game's worn on, he's dropping deeper, he's finding little pockets of space, and he's started to prompt little bits of play.
Well, I'm just looking at the Rangers players coming back out, trying to guess who is going to be substituted, and I wonder, Kenny, if it is going to be that man Billy Gilmore. He certainly hasn't reappeared for the second half yet, so I wonder if Josh Jeffries could be coming on in place of Billy Gilmore.
Listen, Billy's got all the talent in the world. It's obvious for anyone that's ever seen him kick a ball, but physically he's still got a wee bit to go. So maybe Rangers just feel they have to compete in the midfield and match up a bit.
Well, Rangers are certainly being kept waiting by their Celtic counterparts. As you can see, just knocking the ball around, trying to make sure the cold doesn't set in. Celtic have yet to re-emerge from the tunnel here at Hampden. And I wonder if either side, particularly Rangers, trying to get back into this, Kenny, will they look for a change in approach? You know, Jeffries perhaps is a bit more combative, Gilmour likes to get in the ball. I just wonder if Graham Murty will not only change things from a personnel perspective, but try and change the game plan slightly as well.
As I said there, the Rangers' options are really restricted. They're down to the bare bones a wee bit. We said there's 4 regulars missing for them. I think all Graham Murty can really say to his players is to leave it all on the pitch. Confirmation of the change as you predicted.
Yeah, there's that change we told you about just a moment or two ago. It is going to be Billy Gilmour coming off for Rangers. He's going to be replaced by number 16, who is Josh Jeffries. So Rangers making a change at the break as they look to try and get back into this game. For the most part, they competed well in the first half, but a bit of a late collapse sees Celtic going 2 goals to the good at the break. And Kenny, we talk about important times to score and, you know, in dangerous times to concede and so on. How important is it that Rangers really start this second half on the front foot and try and get some belief back?
Well, I think they have to at least test Conor Hazard, because he's had an easy time of it so far. For all Atakai's work on the right, they could really do with finding a shot. It's just more of the same for Celtic, really, isn't it? They've been calm and composed so far.
Well, Jack Aitchison does get us back underway here at Hampden in the 2017 Scottish Youth Cup final. Celtic 2, Rangers 0 at the break. And a big 45 minutes ahead as Rangers look to get back into this one. And Celtic look to just carry on as they left off at the end of the first half. And ultimately try and get their hands on the Scottish Youth Cup come full time. Aitchison's got something to chase early on. Wilson goes across. Happy just to fire the ball out for a throw-in on the near side.
Despite his early booking, I think Wilson's stood up more often than not to the test since.
He's done well, has kept Jack Aitchison relatively quiet. There's Ralston. Johnson trying to work the trickery again, but equal to it was Andrew Dallas. And it goes to Nesbitt, first time back to Ralston. Looks for the nutmeg. Johnson's just about going to keep that in. Tries to flick it through to Nesbitt, but Rangers come away with it. There's Dallas. Just looking perhaps to go all the way back to his goalkeeper, but he's forced to turn out. Rangers just playing a bit of a risky game at the back there, but Dallas does well. And McCrory, out it goes to Lyon. Can he keep it in? Indeed he can.
Nesbitt and Johnson hunting in packs there, making it difficult for that Rangers backline.
Here's the half-time substitute Jeffries, his first involvements to bring in Atakai. He's been a willing runner all evening, and he flashes that across. Rudden can't quite get there. But a minute and a half into the second half, that's encouraging signs from a Rangers perspective.
Well, we said at half-time they have to get Atakai on the ball. Certainly Aidan McElduff knows he's in a game up against them. Good delivery, Zach Rudden, just not quite on the same wavelength.
You can see Graham Murty impressed with that early attack from Rangers. I'm sure he was full of instruction for his boys at half-time, trying to spark them into something, try and get back into this game. One of the great football cliches, Kenny, but a 2-0 scoreline, the next goal obviously can really change the complexion of the game, give Rangers belief and let them genuinely think they can get themselves back into this game.
Yeah, you're right, that is a terrible cliche, but it does hold up. If Rangers can get the next goal, it changes the complexion completely. The problem, as we said, is that Rudden has had to do all his best work with his back to goal.
Here comes Zach Rudden though, out to Dallas on this near side. Dallas thinks about coming back inside, but goes to the byline. Strong challenge from Sam Wardrop. We've already seen what the Celtic captain can do in an attacking sense, but having to do the day job on that occasion.
Yeah, he's disciplined. I think he's one of the boys that's probably outgrown youth level football. Fully expect to see him go somewhere on loan next year in the senior ranks.
So a good chance for Rangers to try and get themselves back into this one early on in the second half. Here comes the in-swinger. It's a deep one as well, header down. A strong win from Rangers at the back post, but does eventually land in the grasp of Conor Hazard. Celtic just looking to switch the play. It's a loose pass though. Johnson's just about going to keep it in. Wasn't quite what Joe Thompson had intended, but here comes Johnson again. And you can see more than happy to just run at this Rangers backline all evening, but ends up giving away a foul, Michael Johnson.
Thought Andrew Dallas did so well there to cover a lot of ground and track back and win the free kick. They haven't been able to offer much in the attacking third, Rangers, but Dallas has really put in a shift.
It's a crunching tackle from Houston just to nip the ball away from Aitchison. Good composure from Kerr though. Finds Calvin Miller on the left-hand side. Celtic have got 3 men in attack. Nisbet's up there. It's over the head of Aitchison. Lyon just brings it down in the chest. Composed defending from the Rangers man. It's nice to see. Infield it goes to Jeffries. Thompson wins it back. There's Hill battling hard but loses out. There's Ashmore just trying to thread it to Aktakai's there, but Connor Hazard ends up wiping out his own defender. I'm sure Aidan McElduff won't thank him for that.
That's what you want from a goalkeeper. No messing about.
Taking no chances was the Celtic goalkeeper. He's just going to throw that one out to give the Celtic left back the chance to recover. Looks like he did take a sore one. I'm sure he's going to be fine to continue.
I think we saw one of the strong points of Joe Thompson's game there. Happy to work back. Reads the game well. Strong in the tackle.
Joe Thompson, another one who's been on a development loan. He's been enjoying some first-team football at Queen of the South, so trying to bring that experience back to under-20 level.
I think it's a good idea to loan these boys to clubs that are maybe at the wrong end of the table, because they do lead a bit of a pampered life at Celtic and Rangers. They are used to winning more often than not. It's good to see the other side of the game.
The header forward, Aitchison's going to turn and try and get on it, but McCrory happy to come and take that one. Just rolls it out to Aidan Wilson. Booked early on, but has looked fairly assured since then. There's Rudden down in the chest. Kerr nips in. Ralston just going to fly that one up the line. Nisbet having a look. He was always second favourite to Wilson. Here's the substitute, Jeffries. Lively start from him, driving forward. Space just opening up for him. Tries to square it across. He's got a second chance though. But again, Celtic do manage to come clear. There's Aidan Nisbet, good footwork from him. Thought Ashmore had done enough, but Nisbet set Celtic on the attack here. Driving forward, Calvin Miller, Aitchison's up there with him. Miller thinks about the shot, takes it on, ends up flying high and wide of the target. But again, that'll be a warning to Rangers. It was a good period of attacking play from Graham Murty's side, but all of a sudden lose the ball and Celtic break quickly.
Nisbet can see a pass. He took out 2 Rangers players with that through ball. Joe Thompson maybe delayed a split second too long to play in Miller. Couldn't keep his finish down.
Andrew Dallas can't quite keep it for Rangers though. Zach Rudden working hard to try and win it back. And it goes to Thompson. He's happy just to bring Josh Kerr into play though.
And I feel for Rudden. You can see in his body language he's getting frustrated. He's covering a lot of ground for very little payoff so far.
Anthony Ralston with a big switch of play to Calvin Miller. McElduff's gone outside him, allowing Miller just to come inside. And there is McElduff, he might get a chance to finish. Indeed he does, good save, Robbie McCrory though. But it ends up in the back of the net anyway. Celtic 3, Rangers 0. I thought the Rangers keeper had done the hard bit. We saw McElduff manage to find a yard of space, thrashed the ball towards goal with the left boot. And cruelly, from a Rangers perspective, it ends up crossing the line.
Cruel, and the Rangers looked to have been playing their way back into the games ever so slightly. But it does show the speed at which that Celtic team can break and the threat they've got all over the pitch. It's a rear goal from Aidan McElduff. Strong running again from Calvin Miller at the heart of it.
You can see
Robbie McCrory will be really disappointed with that.
He's just parried it. He just didn't get enough on it. Jack Aitchison was following it in as well. It didn't require a touch though. It's been a real difficult period for the Rangers goalkeeper. Caught out for the second goal. Perhaps felt he could have done better with the third. And all of a sudden, it very much looks as if Celtic's name is on the trophy. Celtic 3, Rangers 0. And a long way back for Graham Murty's side.
It is, and he's such a good young keeper, Robbie McCrory. I've seen him all over Europe, playing for Scotland's 15s, 16s, 17s, 19s. He'll bounce back from that, but it'll be a sore one to take tonight.
So let's see what kind of response we're going to get for Rangers as that ball goes long. Jack Aitchison does brilliantly well to pluck it out of the air. Calvin Miller, step over onto the right foot this time. Nipped away from him. Nisbet still has it. Going one way, then the other. Aidan Nisbet, he fancies the shot as well, lifts his head. Aidan Nisbet takes a deflection, ends up coming off Jack Aitchison and out for a goal kick. And all of a sudden, Celtic looking very, very comfortable.
They do, and we've mentioned it already. Calvin Miller's one of the more gallus players on the park. You can see the personality coming through in him. He enjoys the big occasions like this, and he's starting to have more and more of an influence.
Rangers are going to make a second change. It's going to be Liam Burt, a man who, of course, does have some first-team experience under his belt. Let's see if he can bring that experience to the under-20s and try and get his side back in it, or at least prevent the situation getting even worse for Graham Murty's side. Because as it stands, they are right up against it.
No surprise to see Liam Burt introduced. I remember Scott Gemmell telling us, it must be a couple of years ago, that he sought out David Weir, who was still at Rangers at the time, and said, you have to take a look at this boy Burt. It caught his eye in the Scotland ranks.
There goes Aidan Nisbet again, though. Good interception from him. He's got Johnson outside him. We know Johnson's just going to try and work his way towards the byline. He's done it all night. Twisting one way and down he goes. Ross Lyon's not impressed with the assistant referee on the near side, but going to be a free kick to Celtic. And we are going to see that change coming off. Is going to be Andrew Dallas. And he's going to be replaced by Liam Burt. So
that's the problem that Johnson brings you. You can't stand off him. You can't get too tight. A really difficult player to go up against.
Just a bit of a delay in play here. I think Graham Murty's perhaps wanting to wait until this free kick's been taken before the substitution is made. That's understandable. Liam Burt's going to have to wait patiently before he enters the field here at Hampden.
Quite right, you don't change in a set piece.
And that familiar set piece duo of Calvin Miller and Michael Johnson over the ball. It comes to Johnson, works it onto his left foot, fires it. Easy take in the end though for Robbie McCrory. A tidy set piece for Celtic, but the Rangers keeper was equal to it.
He's such a natural player, Johnson. Great wee drop of the shoulder there to give himself an inch. Maybe a tame finish. He'll be disappointed with that.
Celtic just giving it away, and it comes to Jeffries. He has looked lively since he's come on. Just gives the ball away on that occasion.
It's tough on a young Rangers team. I know we keep labouring the point, and there's maybe only 2 or 3 years in the average age, but it does make an impact at this level, and you can maybe see them physically starting to tire a wee bit.
So Liam Burt is still waiting. Graham Murty just delaying that substitution at the moment. Rangers go long down the line. It's fired high into the air. Atakai's underneath it, so is Calvin Miller. Both of them miss it at the first attempt. Fired high in towards Dallas. He's going to be the man who's coming off, but just trying to have one last piece of action before he leaves us. Throw in to Celtic on the far side, and we are eventually going to see that substitution. As we said, off-coming Andrew Dallas, on-coming Liam Burt. And a fairly thankless task for Liam Burt to come on at 3-0 down and be expected to make an impact, Kenny, but you never know. Perhaps he can just bring that little bit of magic that at least gives Rangers a glimmer of hope.
Rangers just have to try and get a foothold in the game. And if they can get one back, at least it's a bit of a morale booster, but certainly Celtic have a stranglehold on this. There's only going to be one winner.
I'll hold you to that. If Rangers cap off a miraculous comeback.
Feel
and win
free
4-3.
to hold me to that. It's not going to happen. I've seen a few great Hampden comebacks, but don't envisage one tonight.
Rangers going long. Some instant impact from Liam Burt. Gets on the ball, can't find the pass though. Crunching tackle in the middle. Rangers might just have won themselves a throw-in on the far side. Assistant referee agrees.
Mark Hill does a lot of unselfish work. Sometimes I think you need to be at games to see what some players contribute. Mark Hill's one of those types. Works hard to shut space down.
Barconis has it for Rangers on the far side. Nice footwork from him. Atakai to Houston. Houston just can't quite keep it in. Better from Rangers though. Working some nice angles on the right-hand side. Just falling down at the final touch. There's an interested spectator. Kenny Miller has played in a fair few Rangers against Celtic games, and I'm sure he'll have plenty of advice for these players no matter what happens here at full time.
And he's a good example for these boys to follow. He's probably about twice the age of some of them, and if they're still going at his age, they'll have done well.
He's more than twice the age of some of them, that's the scary thing. Here comes Zach Rudden though, closed down. Good touch. Jeffries just trying to work his way down the left-hand side. Doesn't manage to create anything in the end, but still lively from the Rangers substitute.
I think you can see Jeffries has definitely injected something. It's not always come off for him, but at least he's positive and on the front foot.
Anthony Ralston there, another man who's in relatively familiar surroundings, having previously enjoyed a loan at Queen's Park. And another one who does have a first-team appearance under his belt. Played for the first team in a defeat to St Johnstone at the end of last season. Zach Rudden going for an ambitious effort. There's a fair way from goal, a tight angle as well, but I suppose Kenny Graham Murty's side haven't really troubled Connor Hazard too often, and in many respects they may as well have a go.
Listen, knowing Zach, he's not the type to lack in confidence, so it's been a frustrating night for him so far, so why not? He'll be disappointed to have dragged that wide. I think that was a half chance at best.
Houston just throws it into Barjonas in the midfield. Celtic get a toe on it. Houston has it again. In it comes to Jeffries. Has managed to find pockets of space in that midfield since coming on. Here's Lyon. Right-footed pass cut out though. Back to Jeffries. He's got Burt outside him. Good running from Jeffries. Just tries to slip it through. Burt's going to chase. You can see Ralston just using his size advantage there to shrug the Rangers winger off the ball.
I think one of the best things you can say about this Celtic team is that for all their natural talent and their ability on the wall, they work just as hard off it.
Josh Jeffries really has been a positive for Rangers, though they may find themselves 3 goals down, but he's certainly looked lively since coming on, trying to create that chance here, and he might get on the ball again, but it's Burt this time. Loses out to Nesbitt, pulls back the Celtic midfielder. Easy decision for the referee, I think, on that occasion.
Yeah, slight hint of a foul there.
And Liam Burt goes straight into the referee's book just a moment or two after coming on.
Good strength from Nesbitt. Does show how the exposure to first team football, and we keep saying it and it's become a bit of a cliche, but it does help. 2 years ago there's no chance that Aidan Nesbitt would have stayed on his feet there.
Aidan Nesbitt just battling hard to shrug off Liam Burt on that occasion. Rangers youngster goes into the book, and we are back underway as Celtic try and make something happen. As the captain Wardrope loses out to Rudden, but Nesbitt has it. Nice nutmeg. Aidan Nesbitt moving towards, step over, then fires it right footed. It's well wide in the end. Good footwork from Aidan Nesbitt. Terrific footwork from the Celtic youngster in the end, just drags his shot wide of goal.
Yeah, Nesbitt's class stands out. I mean, I think we said it early on. Nesbitt was in that same UEFA team of the tournament as Patrick Roberts in Malta for the under-17 Euros. He's long since been credited as being one of the brightest young players in the country. Good to see him fulfilling his potential, or at least going part of the way to doing it. Long way to go, obviously.
It's composed defending from Rangers on this occasion. Lyon just comes into the midfield. That's a high ball though. Gives Wilson something to deal with. McCrory does well out to Houston on the far side. Celtic working hard to win the ball back into Jeffries. Nice touch. Back onto the left boot. Just driving into the heart of the field. Going to float it out to Lyon on this left-hand side. Left back coming up to join the play. Comes onto his right foot though. In it goes. Jeffries just trying to work the 1-2. There's Liam Burt. He's going to get his way to the byline. Down he goes, but he just lost his footing more than anything, out for a goal kick, and nothing to get too concerned about if you're Tommy McIntyre.
No, not at all. And I think Brendan Rodgers will be an interested spectator, because with the league wrapped up, Celtic's first team doing as well as they're doing, you could see a lot of these boys just slot in around the experienced players and get their chance.
It's a good run from McElduff, showing a clean pair of heels down the left-hand side. He's got himself into a good crossing position. In comes the cross, and there at the back post, Joe Thompson with the header. Just couldn't quite get there. The effort ends up well behind the goal.
It was a great ball from McElduff. Inch perfect in the nosebleed territory for Joe Thompson, who does his best work in the defensive midfield area.
You can see he really gave everything, hurled himself at the ball, just couldn't quite get enough on it. And Rangers breathe a real sigh of relief.
But no, pinpoint from McElduff. Another good run and strong delivery from him. He's done well tonight.
Jack Aitchison has it. Down he goes. Referee says free kick. Ross Lyon just looks to the sky in frustration.
Jack Aitchison's going to have a long career of being kicked. His first touch and close control are so good. And his speed of movement from in tight areas. So sadly for Jack, he's going to have to get used to that.
Looks like he shrugged that one off as Celtic get underway quickly. Johnson twisting one way and then the other, finds Nesbitt. Nesbitt just driving into the penalty box, lifts his head, squares it across. Good clearance though. Only as far as Ralston. Burt half clear for Rangers. Back into Wardrope. Across from Hill to Thompson. Thompson striding forward again. Atakai doing well to track him. Calvin Miller has been relatively quiet in the last few minutes, considering how much he was involved early on in this game. Atakai again headers it, only as far as Hill to McElduff. McElduff again going for the first time cross. Celtic not quite managing to get anything on that. The ball ricochets off Calvin Miller.
I think you give credit to the Celtic left-hand side in the second half, because we did mention Atakai in the first half. Celtic have really restricted him.
Rangers just trying to play out from the back, but Celtic with the chance to try and pounce on it. Doesn't come off though, and Rangers have it back in the midfield. Ashmore, good turn. Out to this left side to Lyon. And it goes to Jeffries, he's crowded out. Does well to keep the ball out to Houston on the right-hand side. Houston back into McCrory, just works it across to Wilson. Rangers still happy to play some composed defensive football despite being 3 goals down.
Celtic pressed so well in that final third. The Rangers players don't have much time in the ball at all.
There's Zach Rudden going shoulder to shoulder with Wardrope. Rudden comes out on top, tries to flick the ball back to Liam Burt. Gets it at the second time of asking. Burt, not a great cross. Nesbitt with a tidy turn, going to take him away from the Rangers midfield, and he's striding forward. That is going to be a foul against Jamie Barconis. Naden Nesbitt, not for the first time, goes down, and not for the first time gets a yellow card against the opposition. And you can see working hard just to get back there, just thought he could maybe nick the ball, ended up taking a bit of the ankle of Aidan Nesbitt. He does indeed go into the book as well.
Yeah, frustration maybe starting to creep in, and a few tired legs as well in that Rangers midfield. And a few tired legs up front as well, because Zach Rudden's currently on his backside, and we saw the problem with Zach.
Tell you what, Zach Rudden is not alone. Zach Rudden stretching for what looks like cramps. So is Sam Wardrope, Calvin Miller on the far side as well. So I wonder if the big playing surface here at Hampden is starting to take its toll on some of these boys.
You can understand why with Zach, because I think we saw a second ago his hold-up play, his intelligence, his maturity, but there was just no one round him.
In fairness to Zach Rudden, it doesn't necessarily look like cramp. He seems to be nursing somewhat of a knock at the top of his leg.
Well, that is a real concern, certainly from a Scotland perspective ahead of next week's Euros. Zach's going to be a key player.
Certainly is signalling for the change by the looks of it.
And that really is a concern.
There's 1 or 2 Celtic players stretching off as well. I'm sure most of them going to be fit to continue. Rangers are going to make a change regardless. Zach Rudden limps off. Not confirmed if he's the man coming off yet, although I suspect he will be. Indeed he is. So Rangers' final substitution of the evening, Zach Rudden coming off. And he's going to be replaced by Jordan Gibson. So final roll of the dice. It's been a frustrating evening for Zach Rudden up there, and time to see if Jordan Gibson can have any more luck.
It has. Let's get Zach Rudden wrapped up in cotton wool for these Euros next week, certainly from a Scotland perspective. And if Tommy McIntyre would do the same with Jack Aitchison, that would be very much appreciated.
Well, Tommy McIntyre's got other things on his mind at the moment as Johnson loses out. Liam Burt working hard to try and win it. Ralston goes down the line. Nesbitt might just have managed to turn and chase that one in behind. Rangers working it out to the right-hand side. Going to be a foul against Jack Aitchison. He's worked ever so hard, the Celtic striker. Not managed to get on the scoreline so far, but still doing plenty of running for the team.
When you talk to the young Celtic players, they talk about the framework and the strategy and the ethos that Brendan Rodgers has put in place. They're all working to the same demands as the first team players. They all know what they have to do, the benchmark that's been set. So it doesn't matter that they're 3-0 up, they're still working just as hard.
Aitchison still working hard to win it back off McCrory. As the ball fired out to Lyon on this near side. Brings it down. He's lifting his head, not a great deal on in front of him. There's Gibson. First chance for him to get involved after coming on. Gibson just rolls foot over the top of the ball, tries to take Ralston on the outside. Good defending again though from the Celtic right back. A real physical presence, Anthony Ralston, and hasn't given anything away to Rangers this evening.
No, he's not. He's looked a good all-rounder tonight. I think we all knew that about him already. He's someone that comfortably could be playing Premiership football just now. Happy to bide his time at Celtic.
Anthony Ralston just told to retreat ever so slightly before he takes this throw in. Has had a consistent game at right back. And he throws it long up towards Johnston. Slight loose touch from him. Allows Jeffries to have it. Back to Lyon. Infield it goes. You can see Rangers not really get too many options in an attacking sense as Ashmore turns. Left-footed. It's not a great pass though. Liam Burt not in the same wavelength. Out it goes for a throw-in. And with 20 minutes to go, Celtic really are looking comfortable moving towards this Youth Cup final win.
No, it's not quite happened for Rangers at all tonight, but I think Celtic deserve the lion's share of credit for that. They've worked their socks off. A lot of talent, admirable work ethic.
Michael Johnson just about managing to keep it in. As Ralston yet again battles hard, does ever so well. Anthony Ralston, good pass as well, finds Johnson. Been used to the trickery of Johnson and Nisbet all night. Here's the two combining. Nisbet just taking a nudge in the back, but a legal one.
Graham Murty told us a couple of days ago that some of these Rangers players have as many as 3 years left at this age level. We mentioned the progress in people like Aidan Nisbet from this fixture 2 years ago. The hope has to be that all the boys involved tonight will learn from this experience and be all the better for it.
Here's Ross Lyon then, Nisbet closing him down. Celtic front line giving Rangers absolutely no time at all. Still working hard as we move into the 71st minute. McElduff's collected that one and he's managed to play in Miller down the left-hand side. That's a wonderful pass and Calvin Miller's bursting into the box. Tries to square it across, no takers though. Calvin Miller showing great running again down the left-hand side. Burst into the penalty box. Wonder if he could have taken the shot on, but in the end, the ball was flying across the face of the goal and another real let-off for Rangers.
Yeah, and Calvin Miller needs no invitation to burst forward and stretch those legs of his. Maybe too unselfish there. It used to be the other way about.
Yeah, Celtic really have been impressive in the wide areas this evening. And that is a large factor in why they're 3 goals to the good. As Sam Wardrop's penalised for a nudge in the back. And you can just have another look at that chance. Calvin Miller, Jordan Houston working hard to get there. And you can see what Miller was thinking, just trying to put it into an area.
Yeah, it's the one time tonight he maybe didn't look up. Could have been a bit more selfish.
And it looks like we are going to see at least 1, perhaps 2 substitutes on for Celtic. Bringing news of those as soon as we get it. But in the meantime, Wilson has it for Rangers. He's coming forward. There's Gibson. Just come on. Good tackle though, Aidan Nisbet. There's Jack Aitchison. Working hard, battling hard with Wilson. Yeah, as we can see there, Celtic clearly thinking about a couple of changes. The game certainly looks as if it's in the bag. There's Aitchison down the right-hand side, tries to cross the ball first time, going to win his team a corner kick. And he really has battled hard, Jack Aitchison, this evening.
Yeah, and he's played a lot of football recently. You mentioned his exploits in the Glasgow Cup final. I just wonder whether they'll take the chance to give him a break. Kerr McInroy looks as if he's limbering up. He was a standout for Scotland's under-17s.
So it's going to be Calvin Miller with the corner kick. Aidan Nisbet coming across to offer some advice. Takes it short to Nisbet. Nisbet just keeping it in, comes back to Miller. Miller fakes the cross, then cuts back onto the right foot, tries to cross it again. He's going to win inside another corner kick.
That's all Rangers can do now, really, is to do the simple things well, to be dogged defensively. You know the game's gone, but with people watching on, still have time to make a good impression.
So it was Calvin Miller with the delivery. Rangers do manage to clear, only as far as Aitchison though, he's got it just outside the box, tries to dink one over the top. Here's Thompson, working his way out towards Miller. He's still out here, having taken the corner kick. Calvin Miller comes back onto the left foot, finds Ralston. Johnson's there as well. There's a bit of loose play from him. Ball goes through to McCrory, tries to get Rangers underway quickly as they look to try and salvage something from this game. Atakai's down the right hand side. He was lively in the first half, but he's had a much quieter second period.
I think McElduff's got the measure of him in the second half, to his credit.
Rangers do still have it though. Just thinking about the long range shot, well closed down by Celtic. Here comes Ralston. Burt wins it back. Infield again it goes. Lyon wants it on this left hand side. He's going to get it. Ross Lyon, chance just to lift his head. He's got two Celtic players for company though. Celtic doing well to close down the ball. And again, Joe Thompson just battling hard to win the ball back for Celtic. Johnson back into Ralston. Celtic in absolutely no hurry at all. They look more than comfortable at this stage. Long it goes. Aitchison battling hard, spins in behind, going to try and put some pressure on McCrory. McCrory headers it high towards Ashmore. Ashmore works it across. Barjonas tries to just slip one in down the channel to Atakai, but all the way through to Connor Hazard.
McCrory's barely put a foot wrong, apart from his short-headed pass back for the second goal. You know, he'd be beating himself up for that.
It was a crucial error in the context of the game. As Ross Lyon pulls that one out the sky, but the touch is heavy. Ralston's able to come away with it. Back it goes as Celtic look to come out to this right-hand side. That's going to be too far for Aidan Nesbitt though. And we are going to see our first Celtic change of the evening. Coming on, as you can see, is number 14, Theodore Archibald. And he is going to replace Celtic's number 9, Jack Aitchison. So Aitchison hasn't managed to get on the score sheet, Kenny, but you can tell the Celtic fans in here more than appreciate the work he's done. He's been a willing runner all evening. He's put himself about. His link-up play's been good, and I think he's going to get himself a well-earned rest.
Listen, you know, watching Jack Aitchison, that he's going to be a player at a decent level. There's every chance that could beat Celtic. No harm, I keep saying this, but no harm from a Scotland perspective to see him get a bit of a rest. Theo Archibald's another veteran of these occasions. As we mentioned, he's Brentford bound in the summer, so he'll want to bow out on a high.
Celtic are thinking about a second change incidentally, but we'll bring you that when the time is right. Lyon has it coming up the line for Rangers. Poor pass though.
I'm sure a certain Jim Duffy would be delighted to see Aidan Nesbitt taken off.
So Anthony Ralston gets us back underway with the throw-in. Nesbitt inside gets it back. Nice 1-2. It's going to be a foul, and Ross Lyon's got himself in a bit of trouble here. Went in hard on the substitute, and he is another Rangers player who makes his way into the book. Third of the evening.
And Archibald involved straight away.
You can see Tommy McIntyre just giving some final instructions there to Kel McInroy before he comes on. Connor Hazard, the Celtic keeper, has been a virtual spectator. Here is Archibald just on, left-footed to Johnson. Nesbitt just trying to let the ball come across his body. Wilson read it well. And there go Rangers. Josh Jeffries on the far side. Thinks about the diagonal to Liam Burt, and indeed he does. It's going to be overhit though. Burt's not going to get there.
No, he's unlucky, Jeffries. As we said, it hasn't always come off for him, but he's definitely improved things in there. We all know Billy Gilmore's a talent, but Jeffries has made an impact.
So here's Celtic's second change of the evening then. Coming on is indeed Kel McInroy, and he comes on in place of Joe Thompson. So Joe Thompson, a man who's been playing first team football at Queen of the South this season. He's come back to help out his Celtic teammates this evening. He's put in a good shift. He's going to be replaced by Kel McInroy, another member of Celtic's under-17 Glasgow Cup winning team from last week.
Thompson's another one you know will step up next year. I know from speaking to a few of them that there's a few Premiership managers looking at him potentially on loan next year, and it'll be interesting to see how he steps up from Queen of the South.
So just around 12 minutes or so of normal time to go as Nesbitt tries to turn and fire that one down the line. Can't keep it in though. Rangers looking to salvage something. Barjonas going across. There's Atakai. Tries to take McElduff down the line with his first touch, but as he has been for most of the evening, the Celtic left back equal to it. Celtic clearly been the biggest attacking threat of the two sides, but have defended well than they've had to as well. Won themselves a throw-in on the far side. Michael Johnson in absolutely no rush to take it, as you can see. Gets a push from Atakai in the process. McElduff just going to throw this one long down the line. Rangers managing to win it back. McElduff brings it down. Plenty of time for him to stride forward. Finds Nesbitt. Back it goes to McInroy, just on. Loose pass from him. The Celtic do still have it. Atakai once more. Tries to turn down the line yet again. McElduff equal to it. Good defending from the Celtic left back. It's been a fascinating battle that all evening. Atakai was full of running early on, but McElduff really has come out on top in that battle. And Celtic just more than happy to sit off and allow Rangers to come forward at this stage in the game. They'll press at the right time, as Calvin Miller does, and Celtic win it back. There's Nesbitt. Miller again tries to play it inside. Rangers win it back. The game becoming just slightly stretched. Both teams giving the ball away. There's McInroy. And it comes to Nesbitt. Tries to thread one through. McInroy's there and the keeper comes. Robbie McCrory racing off his line. Made no mistake that time.
Yeah, quick off his line.
Hayden Wilson trying to get things started from the back for Rangers. Into Ashmore in that midfield. That one's cut out as well, though. Rangers far too slack in possession for Graham Murty's liking.
I think Mark Hill, I keep saying it, he's been quietly impressive all night. Always seems to stick a foot in.
Joe Thompson and Jack Aitchison just earning their rest on the Celtic bench there.
I think you'll hear a fair bit more about the two of them in the years to come.
There's Calvin Miller, holds off well. Just back to Michael Johnson, just slowly moving forward. Aidan Nesbitt has it, loses out though. Ashmore works it inside. McInroy managing to win it back.
Bit of a blind alley there for him.
Ross Lyon just trying to squeeze that one down the line, but Hill does well to close it down. You can see he's feeling the back of his leg as well. It's been a long shift for some of these players. They really have battled hard on both sides.
Especially in Hill's position where he's covered every blade.
Hayden Wilson just trying to rally the troops, trying to find an option as he looks to throw it down the line. As has been the case all too often. Rangers find themselves going back the way as Aidan Nesbitt takes a sore one in the face. Knocked him clean off his feet, Aidan Nesbitt.
Hairband still intact.
He looks to be moving fairly well. He's back on his feet, you'll be pleased to know.
He felt that.
Ashmore goes down under the attention of Miller. Referee says free kick. Rangers get us underway quickly. Rangers just trying to play it into feet. Atakai's out there looking for that one, but the pass is wrong again. Down the line it goes. There's McElduff. He's got plenty of space to move into. Johnson's alongside him. Johnson wants it. And indeed he gets it. Good acceleration. Takes him into the penalty box. Look at the speed of Johnson. Just opens up his body. Flies one across the face. You can see exactly what he had in his mind. Just trying to shape one into the far corner. He did a lot right there, but just couldn't quite connect with the finish.
Yeah, and he wasn't far off. Even this late in the game, good to see he's still got that burst left in his legs.
Really has been one of the standout performers this evening, has Michael Johnson. Full of running, as his name might suggest.
Busy wee spell for the physios as they try and patch up both sets of players. I think there's at least 3 Celtic players feeling the heat just now.
Yeah,
I think from a Rangers perspective, you have to admit they've been a clear second best tonight, but one thing you can't say is that they haven't thrown in the towel. Easy to be disheartened and maybe slack off, but you couldn't accuse them of that.
Yeah, Celtic looking comfortable. Rangers have battled hard, but it's just not been good enough on the night. You can see Aidan Nesbitt just getting taken clean off his feet there. I'm sure he will absolutely feel that one on a cold night like this, right in the face. But he is back on his feet. Just a bit of a lull in play as Mark Hill makes his way off, just waiting to see if Celtic are lining up a replacement. He's been all over the place this evening, has Mark Hill, clearly feeling it in the legs. But as you might expect, at 3-0 up with less than 7 minutes to go, Celtic in absolutely no rush to make the change.
No.
Quite within the rights as well. We're going to see Regan Hendry come on. Scored a hat-trick in this fixture earlier in the season, so he'll be looking to try and add to that tally as he replaces Mark Hill.
Yeah, different types of players. It's not what that besieged Rangers defence needs at this point in the game when they've got tired legs. Good energy, Regan Hendry. And certainly a strong performance from Mark Hill. Developing all the time. Another one that could maybe benefit from a loan spell.
Aidan Nisbet's just going to close that one down, but McCrory gets the left-footed clearance away. Kerr wins it. Ashmore with the header, drops to Barjonas. Tries to just move away from the Celtic midfield as they battle hard. Liam Burke in there as well.
Nisbet is clearly desperate for a goal. He mentioned last week that this was his last goal at this level. And after his heroics 2 years ago in the final, he certainly wants to make his mark again. And he has, to be fair to him. He's certainly impressed tonight.
Lyon can't find the blue jersey. It goes to Hendry. Back with the Celtic defence, so just looking long over the top. And Archibald might just get there. He's got a job to keep it in, but does well. Great control from Archibald.
A good balance from Archibald there to control a difficult ball.
It's a tidy pass as well, finds Kerr. McElduff's on the overlap as he has been all night. Can't find him on this occasion though. There's Hendry, his first real involvement since coming on. Tries to fire one into Miller. Aidan Nisbet's underneath it. Back to McInroy. McInroy just working it across that centre circle. Celtic content to go all the way back to Connor Hazard.
I think Kerr McInroy's looked tidy for one of the youngest players on the pitch.
Celtic goalkeepers had a very, very quiet evening. That perhaps tells the story of the game, really. There's Anthony Ralston. Back across to Kerr. Right-footed clearance onto the chest of Miller. Nisbet has it. Comes across, Johnson. Johnson just trying to move away from Ashmore. Indeed he does. McElduff's outside him though. Johnson wants it back again. But McElduff just choosing to swing the ball in deep. He's going to evade almost everyone. Archibald working hard to keep it in on the near side. Lyon battling to make sure that doesn't happen. And the assistant referee says that is a foul against Theodore Archibald.
You can really see Celtic's physical superiority coming into play now. The difference that first team football makes. Rangers wilting ever so slightly.
There's Regan Hendry just on, but Ashmore has it. Back it goes to McCrory. McCrory out to Atakai. He's got a bit of space for the first time in this second half. Celtic have defended against him really, really well. Atakai can't quite make anything happen.
Well read again by McElduff.
We've praised McElduff on a number of occasions, but he continues to defend well in the left-back position. And of course, if he's looking for any inspiration as to what playing in left-back in this final can do, then he doesn't need to look any further than a certain Kieran Tierney. Played left-back in this final 2 years ago, and I think we all know what's happened since then. But here comes Rangers driving forward. Decent enough attempt from distance. Josh Jeffries, we said, since he's come on, he's injected a bit of pace, a bit of energy. But in the end, it was a hopeful effort, Kenny. And again, Connor Hazard, really nothing to worry about.
No, nothing to worry about. I'm not even sure his gloves will be dirty tonight. But from Jeffries' perspective, well worth a goal.
Josh Jeffries thrown on at half-time. 2-0 down at that stage, of course, trying to bring Rangers back into the game. But in truth, Celtic have looked very, very comfortable, particularly since scoring that third goal. There goes Liam Burke, just flicks it on, but Celtic defence happy to shield that one out for a throw-in.
It's been a mature performance from Celtic. I know we've said it a few times, but they do the simple things well. They pick the right pass, they press in the right areas. Composure's been one of the hallmarks of the play.
Aidan Nisbet gives it back to Ralston. Nisbet still has it, works it inside to Miller. Some intricate passing there from Celtic. Miller out to Ralston on this near side. Ralston just going to take it to the byline. He's a powerful runner. Ralston flashes it across. Calvin Miller was almost in there. Good defending though from McCrory. Now Johnson has it on the other side. Good tackle, Atakai. Game just becoming slightly stretched as Celtic search for a fourth and Rangers try and get themselves back into it. Certainly it's going to be too late for the men in blue. Haven't really managed to create anything. And that will be a disappointment for Graham Murty. Here's Sam Wardrope, the man who got us underway in terms of goal scoring this evening. Fine finish from the Celtic captain as he plays that one right-footed down the line. Calvin Miller's touch is heavy. Rangers win it back, but that gives Archibald something to chase. Lyon goes back to his goalkeeper. McCrory going to just go out the other side to his brother. Long it goes.
Poor Jordan Gibson's taken on that Zach Rudden role up front. A lot of toil for little reward.
Not had too many chances at possession since coming on Jordan Gibson. Been a real difficult shift for many of these Rangers players. There goes Hazard. Just trying to find Miller on this near side. Miller does well, flicks it on. Referee blows his whistle. Both players down in a heap. And there's a few taking a sore one. Aidan Wilson's down as well. As you can see, Miller and Lyon just colliding there. It certainly was the Celtic man who got to the ball first. I'm not sure how much of that's down to tiredness as they both lie on the Hampden turf. Going to be 3 minutes added on here at Hampden. Celtic 3, Rangers 0, 3 minutes to go. Certainly Tommy McIntyre's side more than deserving of what they've got here this evening.
Yep, worthy winners. Impressed individually and collectively. I think you can see pockets, flashes of potential in that Rangers team. And as we said before the game, maybe people will have to be a wee bit more patient when it comes to these Rangers players because they are a year or two further behind in their development. But Celtic, certainly you look through that Celtic team and you think there's a good 3, 4, 5, 6 of them could be out playing regularly, at least on loan next year in the Premiership. Aidan
Wilson, the latest man, just to limp off in. He's taken a sore one. Rangers have got some defending to do, so they'll want him back on as soon as possible. Theodore Archibald just wrestling hard, wins himself a free kick. And I'm sure with less than 2 minutes to go and a 3-goal cushion, Celtic are not going to try anything too adventurous with this one. Indeed they don't. In fact, they surrender possession fairly quickly. But still no real danger as McElduff goes back to Hazard. Hazard able just to play the ball straight down to Kerr. Kerr out to that left side, Johnson.
Kerr hasn't had much of a mention, but he's been composed as well. Don't really think him or Wardrobe have really broken sweat tonight, given the Rangers strikers very little to work with.
A fairly relaxed looking Celtic bench. Someone so relaxed that looks as if almost fallen asleep there as the ball goes long. McCrory more than happy to take that one on and try and throw it, but very little has got past Anthony Ralston tonight, and again he collects and joins in the attack as well. Here he comes, Ralston. Poor pass though, couldn't quite find Archibald. Rangers trying to muster some sort of a counter. Liam Burt's involved, Ashmore as well, spreads it across to the far side. Burt able to just pull that one down in the chest. Neat control from him. He's crowded out in the end though. Referee Ryan Oliver not too happy with that challenge from Archibald. Neither's Liam Burt by the looks of it. A sore one for the Rangers youngster.
Yep, and he's put himself about since coming on.
So he just tried to nick the ball away from Archibald there. Archibald perhaps leading with the studs, and referee says free kick. So last chance for Rangers then to really muster anything from this game. Just 15 seconds or so of the 3 minutes to go. Rangers certainly are going to lose this one. But whether they can give a small band of fans anything to cheer about as we enter the final seconds. Sparhonas over the ball. Just going to try and whip it into an area, but in the end that really does sum up Rangers' evening. Decent strike from Liam Burke, stings the palms of Hazard. But it really was a case of too little, too late from Rangers. Rare sight of goal there.
And Burke did well to keep his shot down there. Difficult technique.
And as Connor Hazard kicks it high into the nighttime sky here at Hampden, referee Ryan Oliver blows the full-time whistle. It's Celtic 3, Rangers 0, and Celtic are the 2017 Scottish FA Youth Cup winners. And Kenny Miller, on the basis of what we've seen here this evening, thoroughly deserved.
Well deserved from front to back, they impressed. Connor Hazard maybe didn't have that much to do, but certainly in front of him, the back four were a success as a unit individually. The midfield pressed their socks off. And up front, we've talked about the kind of class they've had in the final third.
Well, let's take you through a brief story of the game. It was a fairly tight and tense opening to the game. Nothing really happening in front of goal. And then on 39 minutes, it was the Celtic captain, Sam Wardrope, who put the hoops in front. A ball flashed across the back. Aitchison couldn't quite get anything on the ball. It fell to Wardrope. He rifled a right-footed shot into the bottom corner. And from that moment on, Celtic did not look back. Just before the break, Calvin Miller capitalising on a mix-up between Ross and Robbie McCrory at the back for Rangers. Miller nipped in and tapped the ball into an empty net. Celtic 2 goals up at the break, and they really did cruise through the second 45 as well. It was up to Aidan McElduff to put the icing on top as he strode forward, fired the ball goalwards. McCrory did get a hand on it, he couldn't quite keep it out though, and Celtic's third goal bounced into the back of the net. You can see the players, Aidan Nesbitt there, Sam Wardrope, the captain, happy just to congratulate each other on a job well done. You know, Celtic won this competition against Rangers 2 years ago. They couldn't get their hands on it last season, but they've managed it again. And that will delight the small band of fans inside Hampden tonight and the players, their families. Clearly a big moment. National Stadium, Kenny, maybe not in front of a full house, but this is a big moment for them and they've done the job asked of them.
We mentioned it earlier, you've got players like Joe Thompson, Aidan Nesbitt out on loan at Championship clubs playing first team football every week, but they're only too happy to come back, roll the sleeves up and muck in. And maybe the harsh reality for some of these boys is that this might be as good as it gets for them, so certainly you have to savour the moment.
So both sides just going back to their respective managers to get some final words in their ear before we have the trophy presentation. There'll be contrasting emotions in the two camps. Rangers, they battled hard, especially early on. I don't think anyone can criticise their efforts, but it just wasn't good enough on the night. Let's take a look at the main moments of the game then. It was Michael Johnson and Calvin Miller working well down the left-hand side for Celtic. Miller just stood it up. Aitchison couldn't get anything on it, but no mistake from Sam Wardrope.
I think we mentioned it earlier on, Wardrope showed the predatory instincts of a striker there. Did well to keep it down.
And this is one that does not make good viewing from a Rangers point of view. Celtic will not complain though. Just a long ball, McCrory short with the header. The other McCrory comes out, couldn't get there. And Calvin Miller will not have an easier finish. Just rolled the ball into an empty net. That puts Celtic 2-0 up at the break, and really it was always going to be a long, long way back for Rangers. And it proved to be the case. The third goal, McElduff, powerful effort. McCrory got a hand on it, couldn't quite keep it out. And you can just see the frustration on the Rangers goalkeeper's face, flat out on his back. Celtic delighted though, and they win this one comfortably by 3-0. We suggested before the game, or we said before the game, Kenny, that this Celtic side was more experienced than the Rangers team, and perhaps then naturally a bit of sympathy goes towards Rangers, but you have to give all credit to Celtic. They did an utterly professional job tonight. Many standout performers all across the pitch, and that's why they've ran out comfortable and worthy winners.
Yep, it's not an excuse for Rangers, it's just about a bit of context, but certainly this Celtic team's further along in their development. As we mentioned, you could go through each of them individually and rave about their performances and their progress. As I said, I think we'll see a lot more from some of these boys in the year to come. They'll hope at Celtic, but if not, certainly at a good level.
Celtic players waiting patiently to go about the presentation. As always on these occasions, there has to be a runner-up though, and that is going to be Rangers this evening. They did well to get to this stage. Managed to see off Edinsport, Hearts, Falkirk and Kilmarnock on their way to the final, but they fell at the final hurdle. Just not good enough against a strong Celtic side on the night. And Captain Ross McCrory going to lead Rangers up the stairs at Hampden, these famous stairs at Hampden, to collect their runners-up medals. No one wants to collect a runners-up medal, of course, but these boys will be able to learn from this experience, I'm sure. The vast majority, in fact, I think all of them eligible to come back and play at this level in the years to come, so they will hope to use the disappointment that they are feeling right now and try and turn that into a positive going forward. Billy Gilmore there with the jacket on, he was withdrawn at half-time. Goalkeeper Robbie McCrory as well, a real difficult evening for him. He'll have had better evenings in goal for Rangers.
A tough night for the two McCrorys. We mentioned a mistake from Ross for the second goal, but he'll come good.
Zach Rudden there just limping down the stairs. I wonder if there'll be a few concerned members of the Scotland backroom staff, because he's of course set to jet off to Croatia for the Scotland Under-17s European Championships, so Zach Rudden will have to try and recover as quickly as possible.
Oh, he'll be fine. It's only a slight limp.
For the main moment, Celtic just waiting patiently. This is what all the hard work's been geared towards, this moment, lifting this trophy at the National Stadium. They've worked hard for it, they've been outstanding, they've made it all the way to the final and indeed won this competition without conceding a single goal, Kenny. It really doesn't get much better than that. A 21-0 win against Edinburgh City to kick off their campaign. There was then a 5-0 win against Dundee United, a 1-0 win against Hibs, a 1-0 win against Motherwell in the semi-final, and now a 3-0 win against Rangers in the final. Your Scottish Cup 2017 youth winners are Celtic. Cheers go up from the small band of fans, friends and family and club reps who've managed to get themselves inside Hampden this evening. Captain Sam Wardrop, he was the man, of course, who got the ball rolling on a goal-scoring front this evening. He scored here in cup final wins in the past, and he's going to get his hands on that trophy yet again. Celtic favourite Tom Boyd, the man presenting the trophy. I'm sure that will mean even more to these Hoops players. Mark Haitley in there as well as a Rangers representative. SFA President Alan McRae dishing out the medals as well. You can see the Celtic players just keen to get that trophy lifted above their heads. And indeed it does. Sam Wardrop lifts the Scottish FA Youth Cup above his head. Celtic running out 3-0 winners against Rangers. And as you can see, friends and family surrounding the players, they are clearly delighted. Aidan McElduff getting on the score sheet as well as the trophy gets passed across. Calvin Miller, he got the second goal of the evening. Joe Thompson there, Anthony Ralston, Connor Hazard had a very, very quiet night, but he won't complain. Aidan Nesbitt, Mark Hill, they all played their part, Kenny.
Yep, they all did a real team effort from Celtic. I think you can say they were professional and they were ruthless when they had to be. A lot for them to be optimistic about going forward.
Manager Tommy McIntyre going to bring up the rear. He, of course, the man behind this Scottish FA Youth Cup winning team. Michael Johnson was excellent as well tonight. A real handful for the Rangers defenders. Can't believe he hasn't even turned round and given the trophy to his manager there. Sure, Tommy McIntyre won't mind.
No, he'll be happy to stay in the background. He always does. He's quite a low-key figure, but he's obviously doing a good job with these boys.
Celtic backroom staff might not be showing it, but they're clearly happy with their team's efforts here this evening. The Celtic just make their way over to the podium for some final shots. Going to get that trophy once more, and party time will begin. Of course, some of these boys have got other priorities for the rest of this evening, but they'll enjoy their moment as the trophy goes up once more. The Celtic fans cheering on what could well be the heroes of tomorrow, winners of the 2017 Scottish FA Youth Cup. And it is party time amongst that Celtic team. They really did enjoy a relatively comfortable evening here at Hampden. It was always going to be a big night playing at the National Stadium. It was a 5-2 win 2 years ago here against Rangers. They've won by the same margin, albeit by 3-0 here this evening. And for guys like Jack Aitchison, Aidan Nesbitt, Kenny, the success is great and they'll enjoy it. But of course, there's plenty more to come, they hope, in their Celtic careers.
Yeah, listen, the priority is development over trophies. It has to be, but I do think, especially when you're at a club like Celtic or like Rangers, where there is an onus on you to win, that there is a knack to winning, and something you have to learn along the way.
Well, thanks for joining us this evening at Hampden. It's been a thoroughly entertaining game, I'm sure you'll agree, particularly if you're of a Celtic persuasion. The winners of the Scottish FA Youth Cup 2017 are indeed Celtic. It finished here at the National Stadium. Celtic 3, Rangers 0.